On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, and you know we pray up. Way up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water stream. You know I drip different, this is 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Went on for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we going way up. Don't be used as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. Put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage and they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we going way up. Don't be used as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this is 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Went on for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is the sound of thunder roaring. The sound of electricity going all through the circuitry to bring you this amazing and electrifying broadcast. The voltage is so vexing. How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? It's your host with Not So Much the Most, classic CEO Craig. And, you know, today I'm in my City Edition Steph Curry jersey with the lightning bolts. I don't know if you can see it, you know, because it's an electrifying, very visual. I mean, this guy is a lightning bolt coming down from the community. This guy right here, legend. He is a relic living in the present, and he survived so much of all pain. Before I get into him, known by the elder, aka Dr.Decorum. He'll be on shortly, but today we got to deal with this guy right here, the one and only, the electrifying, the voltic, and the shocking DJ Seanski. What it do, Chief? What's up, man?
What's good, bro? I turned my monitor off because I think that was giving us feedback issues or something.
Right.
I turned it off. It was loud, you know what I'm saying? But I'm here. Thanks for having me on again.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Just enjoying my Sunday, just trying to chill and
yeah.
Talk about whatever.
So thanks for coming on loud and clear. You know what I'm saying? And a toast to the one and only DJ Seanski, the survivor DJ Seanski. And
Look, I'm even being in my own element.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So
From that
without further ado, right, let's get to making the thunder fly and everything. Let's get to the lightning bolts and the strikes right here, right now. So I had to say this, right? Looking at your background, looking at who the hell you are, and looking at what you all, what you just survived, man. You survived a prophecy that did not come true. You survived an event that was supposed to be life-changing. You survived your whole entire foundation, your whole faith, everything you believed, everything that you followed. Disperse, get destroyed without nobody kicking in the damn dough. It was just a regular day.
Yeah.
Regular day. So please, DJ Seanski, tell me of the day when you were a Hebrew Israelite back when they were all one camp. Let's go, Chief.
So I go back to the 90s. I moved to Philly in 94.
Right.
And the first thing I see when I get off the subway right by City Hall is these niggas dressed up in purple robes, and they're using the Bible to speak about Jesus is black, God is black. I'm like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? Culture shock. But really, I paid it no, never mind. It's just a part of the culture of Philadelphia at the time, I thought. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I had a homie from back home up by Pittsburgh. That's where I'm from, Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Grew up with the brother. He lived in Philly too. And he was like, yo, man, we're not the Gentiles, man. We are the Israelites. And he kept on and on and on and trying to convince me that we're not Gentiles, et cetera, so on. Me being astute, I'm only several years removed from graduating from college. I'm like, sure, I'll take on that task. Then I'm going to go to the Israelite school of UPK, and you're going to teach me and show me that I'm not a Gentile, that I'm a black Hebrew Israelite. Sure, I'll take on the challenge. And I, in like October of 97, went to the Israelite church or school, whatever they called it at the time, you know, how you want to refer to it. I went there, and that began my journey as an Israelite, which was very short-lived, but nonetheless, that began my journey at ISUPK, 1 West, the rawest of the raw niggas. So the story is the story. I was only in really for that period of time till the year 2000, till their prophecy of doomsday and Yahushua coming back didn't fucking happen.
Whoa.
It didn't happen. It didn't happen, man. And a lot of niggas was left just in shambles because the prophecy didn't happen. So that means their belief and there's different cliques within the organization anyway. This person has more of the truth, and then this person has more of the truth, and this person doesn't. Y'all niggas is wrong. And niggas went bonkers. Bonkers. Not me. I was always the voice of reason. Like, hey, wait a minute now. I don't think y'all niggas should quit y'all jobs and sacrifice that because somebody told you that Jesus Christ is coming back by the year 2000 and he's gonna destroy all the other nations and put the Edomites beneath your feet and all that stuff, man. Like, whoa. But you know, doomsday cult, man. My bull bought me into it though. I didn't make a conscious decision one day like, I think I'm of the 12 tribes of Israel. Nah, my boy kept trying to persuade me. So I said, fuck it. All right. But I'm going to cross-check all this, though they say it's spiritual. Yeah, I know. Okay. And it's intellectual too. I got to see for myself if what you're saying adds up. Mm-hmm. By this doomsday prophecy not happening, that doesn't add up. So y'all niggas is wrong about a whole bunch of shit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. All of it has to be questioned. To fast forward from 2000, because I'm just giving a little synopsis. From 2000 to 2002, I was inactive. I moved back out by Pittsburgh, and it was like, fuck it, you know. I still stayed in contact with certain generals and brothers and stuff, whatever. They wanted me to help them start a school in Pittsburgh, so I was like, okay, fine. I'm still going to look out for you. They're still good people, whatever. I helped them set up a school up there. Though it was not ISUPK, it eventually became the Israelite Church of God in Jesus Christ. under what was the name? High priest. What the nigga that started that? What's that nigga's name? See what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I helped them do that, but that was like the last time I was ever in the camp was May of 2002, and I was like, this shit is some crazy shit, man. Y'all niggas out here arguing with people. You arguing with listen.
Wait, hold on. You said you helped founded ICIU?
Israelite Church of God in Jesus Christ. What was that nigga's name? Dr.Decorum. So
okay.
when things went haywire, I gotta back it up. So they prophesied that Yahushua would come back in the year 2000. That didn't happen. So subsequently, January 1st, there was a council in Philly. It's just getting ready to hit the fan. And it was wow. So Elder Rakal, who is the head of GOCC, his name was Rakashiar at that time. He had his own little clique anyway. And he went nuts and broke off from ISUPK and prophesied the next day against ISUPK, saying we are the false prophets, right at 33rd and Dolphin Street in Philadelphia, with a loudspeaker and everything. We're the false prophets, and we were wrong because you guys, this part was you. Yeah, it just was like a melee. It was so crazy. I was like, yo, look, these niggas is getting up, mad, angry, walking out and stuff. And I was sitting there like, if we had camera phones at the time, I could have my camera phone on, like, look at this shit here. Look at this shit here. Johanna went his way and he holds some of the old tradition, and GMS got started. And it's like, wow, y'all niggas still gonna keep it going. After Y2K didn't happen, you should have stopped at that point and been like, something's wrong with your doctrine, but something's probably wrong with the Bible because it's another interpretation of 40,000 or some crazy number. Like these niggas here, wow. I got out in 2002. I rescinded my rank through fax, and was like, man, I ain't fucking with y'all like that, man. I ain't fucking with y'all like that.
What was your, if you don't mind, DJ?
Right, we can get into the details.
What was your rank back then? Back in those days when you was a part
I was an officer of 5,000, not a captain of 10,000 like Tazaria. I was an officer of 5,000.
So you was over 5,000 men.
Officer of 5,000, yes. But they said it was like that because I could have been higher up. But I'm the nigga to be like, I'm sorry, it's the Sabbath. Yep, I got to work on Saturday. I'm going for the overtime. Do you have to do overtime, Sean? No, I don't have to. It's not forced, but I'm going to get that bread. Peace, body people. I'll see you later. I know you guys say you should be here for the Sabbath and sacrifice. Nigga, you ain't paying my bills. I got to go. I was very stern about that as far as myself as a person coming from the gate. You're not going to hold me to high holy days. You have to be here for this. You have to honor this and that. Fuck that, nigga. I got to work. I'll see y'all on Sunday or whatever other day I'm coming down. They said I would have probably went further. But I was that dude, like, that would just be like, no, I mean, I know I'm supposed to be camp Saturday, but I'm going to work. I'll see y'all next week.
So you were a rebel. You were the rebel.
Yeah, of course, man. Because I can't be like, look, I told niggas back in the day in the ISUPK, you can't be short on your bills and be like, can y'all take a collection up for me, please? I need help. I need a collection for myself. Nah, you there and you paying your tithes and you're involved and there's money involved. Yes, there's money involved. You doing that, but I gotta pay my bills first though. Tithes and stuff, they kept track, that type stuff. But it's like, yeah, I got you on tithes, but camp fund, priest fund, building fund, you're probably gonna have to leave me out of that. I'll contribute to my camp because we need it to do it. But the priest fund, all that bullshit. Can I have a priest fund, please? It's like a GoFundMe now. Can I have a priest fund? But still, I was there. I was a part of it, and I was always on the fence anyway. I wasn't in there like just some nigga that, like I said, that came up with this, like, I think I'm an Israelite. And I heard it and was like, yeah. Well, let's see. Let's see if I'm an Israelite. The answer to that is emphatically no. Right. Emphatically no. No, I'm not. I'm not from Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon. None of that shit, man. From 12 tribe charts or alternatives, no. So we can talk a lot about that. Look, I got the old, let's bring up the old shit. These are flyers just from Philly. Who are the black people in America according to the Bible? We got flyers. I was always passing out this propaganda. I have so many copies of this stuff. I'll never not get rid of this stuff. I have tons of copies. We got some shit written in Spanish, and the address to the Philadelphia school is right at the bottom. You know, we always pass out propaganda. Christ is King. You know, all this stuff. Come to the school. Come to the school and learn. Come and learn. But this one here, uh-oh. The UFOs exist according to the Bible and all that stuff. So not only is the Israelites, I don't even know how it works anymore. Not only are they a doomsday cult at the time, they believe in UFOs. The UFOs are the chariots, and the UFOs are coming to get you, like some space age, fucking real, like prophetic jargon is what they was kicking. Yeah, but I don't know if they do now. So it's only natural, since my boy is the one that pulled me in anyway. Well, I'm gonna do an investigative research from now on. Then I wasn't hurt at the fact that Yahushua didn't come back. I ain't have skin in the game like that, nigga. I still got to go to work the next day and do what I got to do. So I'm going to take it more of a journalistic approach to problem solving these enigmas of scriptures and do UFOs exist and what's the truth, blah, 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 blah. Took a whole different approach, a completely off the wall approach to figuring out the truth. Though I knew at the time I don't have the truth. These niggas definitely didn't have the truth. The pastors and preachers don't have the truth. I don't think scientists have the truth because it isn't really helping humanity. How? If we believe in Darwin or not, they ain't helping us. How the fuck is that helping us? What is the goddamn truth to why we're fucked up, black people, white people, everybody, why we've been like bumped, knocked on the head and are tripping about this type stuff? Jesus, God, race, hell.
So you were on the fence with the Israelite thing, and
of course,
part of it, and you were pretty much in a lot of ways like, if you find the proof, you find the research, boom, you're gonna
questioning it.
So
at the time, and I was still a quasi-Christian at that time in my life. I was 26, maybe 27. I'm still quasi-Christian at the time, or at least had that foundation growing up and stuff. Was I a staunch Christian? No. Was I a sinner then according to what we consider sin? Yeah. I'm one of them niggas. I'm gonna have fun.
I gotta say this though. The prophetess, right, aka Mika Wash, asked, "What is your nationality?" But I gotta say this before you answer, Mika.
Who cares? Who cares? I obviously am black, but I'm light skinned as fuck. So that means there's white in my DNA. Who cares? What nationality? Right back to it. So wait, part of the journalistic search for the truth is, and how you figure out what's the truth according to the Bible, take yourself out the middle of it. I'm not an Israelite. I'm not a Hamite. I'm not a Gentile. I'm nobody. I'm unplugging myself from this shit so I can look at it objectively. I'm not looking for African origins, who I am, or none of that shit. I want to just objectively see what the fuck's inside this book without me being part of it. I have nothing to do with it. I'm nobody. I'm not looking for myself in the motherfucker or care about nationality or any of that shit. What does that even mean? What does that matter? We're in pursuit for the truth. My nationality, okay, we'll continue on, you know, but still, that doesn't mean that means nothing. We want the truth. This isn't the truth. Obviously, these guys, and I'm an Israelite. You're not African? No? Okay, sure, because then you're less than, according to what the biblical narrative says anyway. Well, I have to take myself out the middle of being less than, and a curse from somebody look at his daddy naked, and then the grandkids was punished for that. We heard all that shit growing up. Like, okay, damn.
Right.
So I'm not a Hamite under the curse of Canaan. I'm an Israelite under the curse of Shem, essentially, because we didn't listen. How about I unplug myself from all that bullshit and caring so I can see where what's the truth in this? Where's the truth lie? That's the beginning stages. Beginning stages that we're going way back in the Wayback Machine. So 2002 is like 30 years ago almost, right? No, I'm sorry. 99 is 24, but yeah, we're going back in the way back 20 years. How do you start after you see that this is a problem? The Israelite paradigm is a huge problem. And my boy that brought me in, and we grew up together. His Hebrew name is Yashar Napash. My Hebrew name at the time was Menagan Raka, which means musician spirit. Yashar is still involved in the Israelite paradigm. We're in our 50s. Right. I went way past it and questioned a lot of everything, basically, and I moved past it. Is even a possibility. So there was a possibility that black people are the characters of the Bible and things are really just reversed. When you dip the Bible in chocolate, that's really, no, that ain't it either, guys. Sorry. That's not it. No, we're not them. You can make yourself want to be them. You're not them. Every bit of evidence on the planet doesn't put us there in Israel as those people, or in Europe as the Israelites were teaching at the time that we're the rulers of the dark ages and King James is black. Whoa, man. Or somehow we went from Israel to Africa and we kept the traditions. Bullshit. Nigga, bullshit. Stop. This community is like, I put those subjects to bed a long time ago. Like, damn. For real? Put that shit to bed, man. Get your mind out the gutter, basically, then. The gutter. It's a shame because then I'm older and I'm closer to the baby boomers who are dying off now. Right. I was born in the 60s, man. I wasn't. So this, like I said, go back to 94 and with this or known about it. And it's like some of y'all wasn't even born in 94. I was only a year out of college at that point. Damn. You know what I'm saying? But there's a possibility, even with like popular pastors like Dr. Fred Price, racism in the Bible and things of that nature, those things need to be talked about. But to put us as these people, the problem is then the Bible itself. Right. Because it is. Right. Damn. So I'm God, and I'm also a creator at the same time. So I'm going to create people, but I don't like those people. So I'm going to get rid of the people, but some are going to survive. And out of those people, I love you people more than anybody else that I created. I love you, and these ones, that's like a dog breeder almost. Like, damn, man, that's a really ugly picture of who God should be. Damn. Anyway. Any damn way. Like, come on, y'all. Wow. Look at this story. Look at this ugly, ugly, ugly story. It's ugly. Fear me to worship me at the same time. Fear me on both sides of it. But black people like get off on that. Yes, we're the Israelites and we're going to destroy you one day and we're going to rule you and we're going to subdue white people and kill them all. So that's ugly too. What's good news about that?
So DJ Sean, right? Now here's the thing, right? I noticed you said a key thing, right? You said propaganda, right? And you was in the thick of it, right? So basically, where would you guys spread the information around? Did you have certain neighborhoods you didn't want to go to?
No, I mean, it was all over Philly at the time, like Center City, Philadelphia, and the hood.
Right.
That's how it worked. Yeah, Center City and the hood. So we was out the mainstream public and in the hood. Right, New York, same thing. Times Square and in the hood. Things would be in the hood. That's another thing, though. So these guys, they have a ranking order coming from God Himself, the Most High. And it goes through High Priest Ariah is on the top of the pyramid. Boom. I'm the man receiving the knowledge and wisdom and everything from God and the Most High. Then the high priest was Ariah, Shah, Kazak, Yeshaya. Anyway, then the 12 generals, then the rest of the soldiers. So I'm an underling. I'm an underling like a motherfucker. So I can't receive any type of spiritual message, I guess, from the Most High to give y'all understanding and stuff because the food chain works that way. Shit, we went to One West. As you walk, it was in the same building that Al Sharpton's offices was in. New York buildings are big, man, huge, nice, big, wide staircases, 3 stories. You go up, and when you get to the top, it's like the Last Supper is there with all niggas and them. The high priests were in the story, like chilling. Like, what the hell? I seen that in like 98. Was like, there's something wrong with this, man. Y'all this is how it is. So y'all niggas is like that. And some people gonna believe y'all and follow y'all and really be like, yes, I put all my authority into you.
So they were like, in a lot of ways, right? When you know, just like going in and seeing,
Ooh.
they were like the kings on earth, basically, when it
Kings
came.
on earth.
So
I
whatever.
didn't see them niggas at Passovers in New York City raise several $100,000. Put that money in that bucket, nigga. We gotta go to Egypt. There's only 75,000. Pass that fucking bucket around again, nigga. Like, damn. And I, at the time, had enough money to go to Egypt, and I was like, nah, I'm not gonna go. I'm gonna spend the money on something else. I'm gonna spend it on other things. I could do that, but I'm gonna do something else with it. You know what I mean? It was cheaper at the time if you had bread, but they was like, throw it in. They had well over $100,000. Like, damn. I just did it like that. Whenever they would walk down from the podiums and stuff, the eye would part like the Red Sea. Oh, get out their way. Here they come. Here they come. The kings, please be humble. They're coming. Like, whoa. I'm trying to paint a picture. Like, for real. Because I've seen JJ interview former Israelites, and they say the same shit. We have the same stories. Like, yeah, that's how it was, man. Right. Like, this is crazy here, man. But then some say, oh, they I'm sorry they did that to you. Really, Sean, your understanding of the Bible. Yeah. I can determine my understanding of the Bible. I'm the one who's intellectually responsible. I'm the one who is the final arbiter of truth. First philosophical questions you ask yourself: who is the final arbiter of truth? I am. But I have to be intellectually responsible through the whole process before I say what is the truth and what isn't the truth. But goddamn sure, the truth is not we're Israelites. Period. So, and my boys that adhere to it now, I'm like, man, that's okay.
So okay. I gotta ask you, right?
Sad, man.
About these earthly priestly kings, right? So these individuals, right? When you said they walk, it's like everybody get the hell out their way.
Man, the niggas will back up. High Priest Shai was a guitar player, and he played a guitar at one of the Passovers. He was dope. And as soon as he got off the podium and stuff was coming down, niggas got out of his way and made mad space for this high-ranking man of God to walk through. And I was like, damn. Wow. Damn.
Wow.
Woo. Woo. Like, whoa. I mean, we should respect each other, but we're only giving him that kind of respect because he's closer to God than us. Or the Most High.
So question, how did he learn? Did he go through the same teachings as you, or he just came in one day?
Arya, Shazak, and them guys, and they were old school. They're the old school Israelites. You guys have heard the history of it throughout these the conscious community of how it worked with One West. But once the shit doomsday ended, I don't see how they could have ever recovered from it. Many of us that are intellectual, I mean, there's a brother that, and you know, his name is Aparium. He was Puerto Rican. This nigga went on to get degrees, have successful businesses, and the whole nine, and us still talking to each other over the years, like, yeah, them niggas is crazy. You know what I mean? Them niggas is just crazy. We can't really get through to them. We're not going to be able to. They're going to always look at us as like heretics and we lost our faith, or yeah, they're not going to listen to the voice of reason. Even if some brothers still adhere to maybe Christianity or Judaism in itself as real Judaism, what am I going to say to that? I don't at all. I'm an atheist then, God damn it. I do the Bible God and the God of the Quran. Please. Oh my goodness. No, hell no. Nope. But we can't reach them brothers. They're too far gone, man. Like Elder Ricard from GOCC. That nigga won't talk to me. He hasn't talked to me for years. And I started with pseudo information when I first started researching. The first thing you go to is pseudo shit. I didn't take an academic route till later. I went with the pseudo shit. Let me see what all the new Wapians got to say. Let me refamiliarize myself with NOI and 5%er. You know, let's go that route. And Blackology, basically. What do black people say? Let's see what we got to say first. That's the pseudo information I call it. I hate to call it that, but I'm going to call it that. And once I got through pseudo stuff, it was like, okay, I think the answers are still academic. This stuff here is not, they're not alternatives of Christianity or Israelite. Y'all all on the same level of paradigm. One's here, one's here, one's here, one's here. You're really saying the same stuff. you know, but I wanted to familiarize myself with Nuwapianism, especially because the Israelites was like, don't read Dr. York. He's evil. He's his own God. He is his own savior. No, please. And I got homies and family that's Nuwapians, like, and we always been cool. So in Philly back in the day, I would buy from the Nuwapian stores because their milk and honey soap is the best soap you're ever going to use in your life. And it was like, you shouldn't buy from them because, you know, I'm going to buy some fucking milk and honey soap from the Nuwapians. You know, I don't understand what they're into, but what does it matter? We're black people. Don't support them. Support yourself. They don't have the truth. I'm going to go buy some milk and honey soap. I'm going to buy some incense from the 5%ers or whatever, you know, like it's not even like that. Why, right. You know, we're Israelites. We have the truth. We have the truth. It is and if you leave the truth, 7 spirits are going to jump on you and you're going to be overwhelmed with everything and you're just going to be bugged out the rest of your life.
So wait. They told you.
I'm just trying giving you a lot. Like, I'm trying to tell you, man.
7 spirits come and jump on you and mess with you.
It's in a scripture somewhere.
Wow.
Yeah, 7 spirits. You don't leave the truth. Wow.
So okay. So question. So DJ Seanski, right? So yeah. Since you were an officer, you were on the streets preaching, correct? Or yeah. So were you the ones? Were you like yelling and cursing and saying, "Yo"?
I wouldn't yell and curse, but I was a better reader than anything. They always used me to read. I didn't have glasses at the time, and I articulate well, and I could read better than most niggas could read. And I was more of a reader. I'm loud, you know. But I taught too. But I was only teaching on the basics. I didn't go too deep with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm on video somewhere, and I have videotapes. These master copies. These are like super VHS masters of old, late era 90s TV shows that were aired in Philadelphia and in Pittsburgh. So I have master. The Resurrection of the Dead and the Return unto the Lord. Yeah, these are SVHSs. These are master videos that are unedited. What is the law? Why is the law important? I'm trying to move around. Like I have, when I was involved for different reasons. Now let's go back. So since I'm a DJ, you have to adhere to the 90-day rule when you come into ISUBK.
Right.
I didn't adhere to the 90-day rule. They immediately bought me in. I was vouched for by my boy, and you already hear my name on the radio. I'm a subcontracting DJ for Power 99. I do work in clubs and for different events. So you can hear my name on the DJ. We're having this live event, and DJ Seanski is going to be on the wheels of steel. Yeah. So you can run a background check, which they did, but I immediately started doing work because they needed me to help them make money, basically. We're going to do a talent show. We're going to do this, do that. Can you help us? Sure. But I wasn't still supposed to fraternize with brothers until my 90 days was up. But I'm still around the generals, and we out working, doing business, making money and stuff. And that's kind of how the way it went. I didn't get a pass, but because I just still go through the Hebrew Academy and achieve rank a certain way. But I came in immediately without having to go through 90 days before I could do anything. I came in right away and was doing shit. Somebody needs a pickup truck on a Sunday to help move something or whatever. I was that kind of guy. But that's why I can say these men that I met, most of them are good people, man. Straight. I can't say nothing bad. Johanna and all them guys that I think are just religious fanatics are they're really good brothers, really good people, man. I can't front on that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And we had personal relationship for years, so I can't ever say, well, this guy did this to me and that guy didn't. Nope. I don't have any stories like that. We all did, was fair to each other, but I think that's more humanistic than because the Bible says so. I think we're just like that inherently a lot of times as Black people, and we don't need that as the common thread as to why we're friends or we do business together. Does that make sense?
No, I understand what you're saying completely. So, okay, so you were a quasi-Christian back then you went Israelite, and you were a quasi-Israelite. And then after that, what was your school of thought after?
What I did was, let's go back to 2002. Let's go back that many years. So one of my best friends, also, his name is Brian Brian Betts. Let me give him a shout out. I introduced him to the Israelite paradigm then. He's an educated man and came from great family background and great schooling and stuff. And we had to have a long conversation. Like, we don't know everything. And these niggas right here definitely don't know everything. So we're younger. We're in, at that point, our very early 30s. We have to keep, if you want to acquire the truth, we have to keep going and just admit to ourselves that we don't know everything and not be afraid of any fucking thing. It's right. Taboo or like, oh, it's the devil. No, fuck that. And we'll get there eventually. So I didn't have a school of thought from like 2002. I didn't even really start researching again until like 2008.
Right.
I just did me and lived life and stuff. And then I started looking at some things because Obama's president now. There's no excuse. We have a nigga, and he's not a nigga like us, but he's in office. You can't, say, okay, now this happened and you can't be inspired.
Right.
Some of my friends might say I used the N-word. I did because we're amongst black folks, but sure. Yeah. And I started researching again. I opened up the books and just started with just reading articles about whatever. Let me challenge my own thinking. I'm challenging my own thinking at that point through journalistic methodology, because that's what my degree is in.
Right.
Pretty much. And it's like I have to be impartial as possible. I don't know the truth. I have to find it. I have to be honest with myself. And before I come upon a conclusion, I have to be well researched in that specific area, discipline, whatever you want to call it, before I finalize my final answer. I'm the final arbiter of truth, me. So just a process. And I went through a long process, and it led me in some other places. Of course, pseudo comes first. Pseudo scholarship, we get that out the way.
Right.
And when I went back to the academic route, I looked back at scientific literacy, like Aunt West, who's one of my arch enemies, but he really isn't. I just have something against Aunt West. We can talk about that too, because he's an old head too. I challenged myself there. Aliens and shit like that. Man, that's going to come in later. And angels and supernatural. Oh, man. But yeah, I challenged myself with scientific literacy again and just kept going and going and going. But I had never, ever considered one great scholar that I was introduced to back in 1981. How many of y'all was born in 1981? Yeah, I'm pulling rank a little bit. Baby boomers, man, was closer to me. 81. I'm like 12 years old, and a school teacher went nuts in class. His name was Mr. Plaza. And I know it was 1981 because Anwar Sadat also died in 1981. My memory takes me back to certain specifics. So he went nuts. He's a geography teacher. I'm not teaching what I should be teaching you guys because I want to. I'm being forced to do it. And he went on a rant as why the education system was doing a disservice because there are alternative theories, so to speak, that aren't getting much play, but make more sense than what the fuck he's teaching. Right. And after this long rant, I asked him after class, well, who are you talking about? He's talking about Dr. Immanuel Velikovsky, the most controversial writer of the 20th century. And I'm like, okay, I'm young at the time. I don't give a shit. I'm going to play football and do whatever else I'm doing. But Velikovsky's postulations is really what's called the third story. We've heard the first story. In the beginning, God created the heavens and earth, or the Islamic counterpart to it. We've heard millions and billions of years ago, there was an explosion. And then subsequently, we have evolution come from it. And we slow walk through the dinosaurs and we get to this point. There was always a third story. And the third story had people going, oh, I don't know if I like the third story, is that we don't really know any of that shit. And we are the victims of, in the coming of age of human beings into self-awareness, we're victims of catastrophic events that we said was God and gods. And we didn't have a scientific method at the time. And we were traumatized enough by it that we came up with these constructs because we didn't have a scientific method to explain what was going on. And we were just coming into our consciousness. Can't be that. No way. No fucking way. But that's the third story. And when I did the investigation with the third story, I was like, these arguments are very valid. They recently reemerged in 1950, and it made the science community go bonkers. We don't have no internet. We don't have social media. Velikovsky said, what you're reading in your Bible basically then is, let me back up. If you think Newton is sacred and Darwin is sacred, you might have bumped your own fucking head. I hate to say it that way, but yeah, they're not sacred. We don't know anything about space because we ain't got nothing in space yet. But it looks like the ancestors are telling you something bad happened in your solar system and the planet's orbits changed. And that's what we're confused about.
Mm-hmm.
What? Planet's orbits changed? Well, how in the fuck does that work? This is what this is all about. That investigation, I was like, let me take on this challenge. And I was like, damn, what a reality check. And, you know, at the time, there's no social media. So before this book is released, and he's a Princeton guy, he's Jewish, Russian scholar, you know, been through World War II and all this stuff. And he came out with it. The scientific community went nuts and published 4,000 papers against him before the book was even released. 4,000 papers against this man because he was like, I want to know why human beings is crazy, basically. Why are we so crazy? Do we understand what we really? So it's the third story. And the third story is so interesting that it led me to where I am today. And there's so much more involved with it. It's the challenge of science and academia in general, because then if we're traumatized because of something in the past, there's a lot of misinformation out there in all the disciplines, and we need to re-question everything. Fuck that. Challenge yourself, re-question it, and see if the arguments are valid enough for you to paint a different picture of the past and our paradigm in general. So Black people, when I came across, I'm like, Black people wouldn't even talk about the stupid shit we talk about. If we understand this a little bit, it'll start to all make sense. And you'll go, oh man, well, okay, I got some answers. So maybe I can move forward a different way. That's the third story. I'm deeply entrenched in the third story. Electric Universe, Thunderbolts Project, Neo Velikovskian, authors, researchers, etc. Yep.
Right.
Yep. Hell yeah.
So you're more of a man of science in a lot of ways.
Well, questioning, no, it's just not science. It's questioning it all.
Questioning it all.
You question it all. Every discipline. I said every discipline, right? I didn't say one discipline. So we're talking about science.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about human history and all the science disciplines, human history and all your religions, and as it relates to the chronology of our story. All of it, man. Every single bit.
So basically, you're saying it needs to be challenged because it doesn't make any sense, or
we have to challenge our thinking on it. So in other words, a creationist,
right,
and an evolutionist. I know Mudawa is not going to agree. My homie Mudawa. A creationist and evolutionist, their stories cancel each other out like this.
Right.
At the time, Darwin's ideas separated themselves from the church, and they did. But it's somebody's analysis of the fossil record that may not be correct all the way. Sorry. Yep. May not be correct all the way. And you have to admit that to yourself and say, maybe that, because I've heard Bill Nye, the science guy, disrespect creationists. Like, you don't know what you're talking about, and this is a fact, and you don't maybe understand the book you're actually even reading. Because then we would say that in the beginning story was just a transient phase of human history. A transient phase when humans became self-aware. It wasn't a creation of anything from the material universe or evolution. It had nothing to do with that. But it's said it's creation, so we take it as this is the beginning of something, and that is misconstrued. So to come down on creationists is wrong, because evolutionists don't got it all right either. We don't have it all right, is what I'm saying to people. We don't got it all right. We can try then to work together to figure some things out and then have a solution, I would say at this point. But until we get to the point to admit maybe we're not right about religion or science all the way, then it's just some bullshit. And especially niggas, I'm going to say it that way, that want to be Israelites and all that stuff. And even some get mad at Aboriginal and blah, 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 blah. It means nothing. What does that mean in terms of spiritual healing in general, getting your mind clear? Nothing. It means nothing.
So you take the path of like pure scholarship, right? Where you get into the information, you study peer review articles, you go into the actual, you look mistakes. You cover everything. You don't have a bias when it comes down to it.
Well, I'm an empiricist, though. I'm an empiricist physical evidence guy. That's what Thunderbolts Project did for me. Like,
Right.
would you let a nigga, I always say it, sell you a fake gold chain?
Heck no.
The easy debate and switch back when I was a young boy was like, I got this chain and it's 24 karat gold or whatever. And then they turn around, wrap it in a box and put it in a different box. And you're like, it ain't the same chain. Can I have my money back? Would you buy a chain off the internet from an unreliable a source or supplier and say, I know this chain's going to be gold when I get it and it's silver? Come on, man. I need physical evidence. I'm empirical and physical evidence driven. Beyond that, I go, which is why your boy Leandre. I asked some questions. Let's go to Leandre. I think he's an articulate young man. He's, and I agree with a lot he said. But when I asked him some basic philosophical questions, him being Mr. Philosophy and Logic and Mr. Smarty Pants, he didn't get the answer right. Not sufficient for me anyway. Are written sources considered historical evidence? Yes or no? Yes, because we can then deduce. Blah, blah, blah. The answer was no. Absolutely not. Because then I use a prime example of Sally Heming and Thomas Jefferson. Who the baby daddy? There's two different sources that say do two different things. How do you figure that out? And he said, well, when you deduce and blah, 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 blah. No, it's DNA. Come on, man. You can't even kick anything on me. At this point, I can't convince anybody of anything in these back chat groups, debates, or anything. Neither can anybody convince me of anything. You have to convince yourself. I'm just here to help. I'm just here to help.
So
I'm just here to help a little bit. I ain't here to say I got all the answers and none of that shit.
So DJ Sean, I heard from a very ratchet individual, right?
I'm gonna turn my camera off for a second.
It sounded like he was speaking another language, but I understood what he was saying. Right, when he was slurring at me, but I just say that because I just like fucking with red.
Keep going.
But I did hear right that you are in a debate circle where you deal with individuals with high credentials in education. I don't know if that's true or not, but he slid me some very, very, very important information. Right. It was a video of certain individuals that you do deal with, right? Because he said you're on someone's channel. I think the man was named Jacob, correct? So with that being said, right? I know you're gone right now, but
yeah, I'm back.
I was gonna back you back like
I missed what you said. Please pardon me. Family and friends, I had to excuse myself. I'm enjoying some IPAs, so I had to excuse myself. I apologize. I did wash my hands quickly. So
check this out. This ratchet source, right, told me that you deal with individuals with a high level of credentials in the field of education and research. You're a part a platform, right, where these individuals come down and you debate them and you discuss certain things, right? And they say that they only debate their peers, and you show them that, hey, I'm your peer and I'm above you, correct? So I think that
I'm above anybody.
So here's the thing, right? I got something and I gotta play it right quick, man. Let me get back. I gotta play it right quick, man. And this right here, right? Gotta play this.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another live stream for the History Valley podcast. Today, I'm moderating a debate between John Winford and Sean Andrews, and they will be debating, is the mainstream chronology correct? John Winford will be defending the mainstream chronology, while Sean Andrews will utilize the research of Professor Gunnar Heinsohn to challenge the mainstream chronology. So, Sean, I give you 10 minutes to explain your views, an introduction argument, in other words. And then John will give his views, will introduce his views in his 10 minutes time, and then you'll get the rebuttal. So I'm starting the 10-minute timer now.
All right, well, to start off, I mean, mainstream chronology can be taken a lot of different ways. I'm specifically talking about human history not necessarily the history beyond the Bronze Age and things that happened 10,000 years ago and 60,000 years ago, and the uniformitarianistic, gradualistic, Lyell-Darwinistic approach. When I talk about chronology, I'm talking about the chronology of human history, which would be specifically the Bronze Age, where language systems were developed and cultures were developed, up through including to where we are today, essentially. To put it in a nutshell, we rely heavily on historical sources, so to speak, literature, of which most of these historical quote-unquote sources don't have any original documents or original manuscripts to even support. I'm talking about Manetho. I'm talking about Berosus. I'm talking about Josephus. I'm talking about Sextus Africanus. The sources that came at the very, very late end of the first millennium BCE. It would seem from my research that the sources from the Greeks prior to that were much more reliable sources of human history and human cultures at the time than the sources of, again, Manetho, Josephus, Berosus, Sextus Africanus. From my research, it's clear to me that the chronology of Egypt, Mesopotamia, and the biblical chronology is completely erroneous and is anachronistic. That there should never, ever, 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 ever in human history be what you call dark ages or even intermediate periods like in Egypt. There should never be hiatuses of culture where you have cultures that already exist. Never, ever, 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 and I'm going to reiterate that again. Because to me, a dark age means it simply didn't happen. The dark ages can't happen. The only time the dark ages happen again is Egypt, Mesopotamia, Greece, and Europe between the 5th and 14th centuries. If there are gaps in human history, but yet I'm being taught the history at the high school and collegiate level without sufficient records that were either destroyed somehow, burned somehow, people will say, then how can we tell history accurately if it had to be retold, recompiled, rechronicled? How do we possibly rely on those sources, and those sources are set in stone? So that was a good clip, my brother.
Wow, wow, and wow.
Well, let me simplify it, because all the sources are post-Renaissance. Do niggas know that? Do people know that? These are all post-Renaissance sources. And it's during the time of Joseph Justus Scaliger in the late 1500s. Do you guys know that? And it was challenged then. You sure you got the biblical history from the first 3 centuries right? We have to look at this. He used the astronomical dating of all things. This guy Scaliger, what he did was he synchronized the Greek and Roman history with the Bible, and then with Egypt and Mesopotamia. Hell, at that time, we don't even have any excavations of these cultures. He's using astronomical dating, and they're recompiling Eusebius, they're recompiling Josephus, they're recompiling everything in the Renaissance. These sources don't exist till the Renaissance. Damn, y'all don't see that? And where are the original sources? Where's the original writings? How was, and I get technical, how was Eusebius written in Greek, but we have Latin fragments that were completed and then backwards translated back into Greek? And he's one of the early fathers of the church. Like, okay, there's no history of Christianity until 1,000 years ago. From Paul on down the line, you can only prove for the last 1,000 years. You can't prove for 2,000 years. The whole thing just it ends up being bogus, and it's, I hate to say it that way, but it's bogus. Like, man, I don't think there was an agenda behind it. No, except that it was done wrong. Yeah, so the Bible, people don't know this. And my master, I call him my master. Gunnar Heinsohn is my master, like a Jedi Knight. I met Gunnar Heinsohn, or had correspondence with that great German professor about a year before he died through his editor. I went to his editor like, yeah, I already used Gunner's information, so I want to interview Gunner. Me and Jacob interviewed him twice, and he didn't tell us he was sick or whatever, but he died. So I'm like, damn, it's like Obi-Wan and Luke. Right. I'm out here like Luke Skywalker. I got his works. I can present his works. Like, wow, okay, so I'm not going to get my hand cut off like Luke, though. No, but when you start to buttress written sources versus archaeology and stratification, it's called comparative stratigraphy. That will tell you if what we're looking at is accurate or not. It's historically. And I'm saying, nope, it's not accurate at all. It answered a lot of questions for me, but I'm different though. I'm putting to show my age again. So I had a problem in 83 with history taught in school. Egypt has an intermediate period, 1, 2, 3. Mesopotamia has dark ages too. There's an Anatolian Greek dark age, so to speak. And we have European dark age more recently, which is generally between the 5th and sometimes 11th century, but I always say 5th to 14th because it's all sketchy. Right. I had a problem with that then. How are you telling me the history of this if you don't have evidence of the history of this? No, that violates my intellect in high school. I'm not buying it. Look, I'm folding my arms. I'm not, you can't tell me the history of things without the history of things. It was lost, it was burned, it was this, it was that, but you're gonna, okay, is there archaeology to back it? Everything was lost, it was burned. Come on, man. What's really the truth then? It looks like, so then to all the people in the audience, it looks this way from my journalistic research that the fall of the High Roman Empire was only 1,000 years ago. So Imperial Rome, as we know, is Constantine and the Justinians. That was only like 1,000 years ago, right at the time of the Crusades, where there wasn't a gap of like 1,000 years from the end of when Jesus died till when the first crusade happened. No, it happened after a catastrophic event. These folks went over there right away almost. Mm-hmm. Like history is so distorted now. It's like, damn, it's distorted history. We have a distorted history. If you see it through the European eyes of how they tell it, through the distortion that my professor would say wasn't intentional, it happened after a catastrophic event that ended the end of the BCE times. So BCE times will only be like 1,300 years ago. That's what it's saying. BCE was only 1,300 years ago. Like, okay, so then it makes things make more sense, even with African history and all that. It makes things, by looking at the archaeology in its pure form, it's like, I'm going to put on a presentation for Ivory with my master's slides. And I'm going to do it of Islam and Christianity being contemporary with each other. Right. Islam didn't happen in like 700 some AD. It had to have been contemporary with Christianity. And the archaeology proves that. Regardless of what the scholars say with this is how it really happened. No, nigga, it didn't happen that way. It happened this way.
So you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, DJ.
I get deep. I go hard though. I'm an empiricist. Go ahead.
The history we have now, the timeline we have now, right?
Yep.
Is incorrect.
Incorrect as hell.
Wow.
Incorrect as hell. So here's what happens. This is the bigger part of it. Since Black people in these groups have a problem with the Greeks. The Greeks were white people, and they are the ones that we've heard this before, especially with Egyptian history. The Greeks came and the Romans. Okay, they're not far off. So the Greek chroniclers like Diodorus and Herodotus. Mm-hmm. So Ninos, according to them, was the 8th century BCE. Ninos is Nimrod in the Bible, and Naram-Sin in Assyrian history. So Ninos of the 8th century is actually Nimrod, or who you would call Naram-Sin, of 2250 BCE. And Abraham was born in 2130, man. Their narrative and their telling of the chronology of history supersedes that of the Greeks at the time. Like the Greeks had it all down to where it only puts the cultures back to about 1,000 to 1,200 BCE, period. But they're like, no, the Greeks were newer and the Romans were newer, so they didn't get it right. The Bible supersedes that. So the timeline of history is really based on the Bible. And that, according to my master, is the greatest sin, which is the misunderstanding of something and not living up to the mark of something or coming short of the mark in history, in all academia. You're using the Bible dates over the dates we actually knew from the Greek chroniclers in 500 BCE era. You're saying that this story pushes Abraham back that far, so then Naram Sin has to be back that far. When the Greeks was like Naram Sin was 8th century BCE, dog. That's a quandary. That's like a quagmire. So that means that the late Neolithic period would have had to be beyond, only a little bit beyond 1200 BCE to the rise of the monumental cultures. And the Bible portrays it going back further than what it, and that has an impact on all world history. Chinese people, Mesoamericans, Native Americans, Hindu people, it pushes their cultures to either 1000 BCE anyway or 1000 AD. And they're like, Chinese scholars are like, why are we 1000 BCE and not 3500, 4000 like everybody else? Because it's based on biblical fundamentalism and it's a sin. Like the Hebrew culture is the Hebrew culture, but I don't think in 1000 AD with the advent of the Aleppo Codex and the Leningrad Codex, they got it right in terms of when the Exodus happened. 1500 BCE. Cool. Now you're remembering something from 2,500 years ago, better than everybody else on the planet, because nobody else is writing about backwards stuff, but y'all writing about it and saying this happened around 1500 BCE. The archaeology says, no, it probably didn't happen in 1500 BCE. It probably happened in the 600 BCE era, if there was an Exodus that way. And with the scholars, and I have access to the scholars, through History Valley and everything I've weighed out makes it, to me, which my opinions and Jacob's opinions may be different, but to me, for my journalistic approach, is like, no, there's much more credence in the fact that the Exodus would have happened much more recent, and Ramses and those guys would have been more recent rulers anyway. It's all twisted around to where it's like you can't see the how it really happened, because the Bible already pushed the story back too far.
Right.
Push it back too far, man. To say it real hood, like, so the people will hear what I'm saying. So the scholars and stuff that I do would hear me saying and talking like this, and be like, oh, he's black, and then he can actually turn it on to the white scholar voice or whatever you want to call it. But I'm just keeping it funky. Like that's how I'm putting it to people, because the back chats aren't academians. They didn't graduate college and shit like that. Like Leandre, my man Leandre, who spoke so great and well, and I agree with a lot he said. At the end of the day, he's a Christian apologist. Like, oh, okay, damn, dog, you don't have anything better to offer than that to the people, and use logic and reason to even prove God. Oh man, and Leandre, like I said, he's a well-spoken young man. I'm gonna have to pull rank on him like Generation X should, and we should have discussions and talk. And because if you're in the back chat, you're really in the back chat. You know, you're in the conscious community. You really should be in grinding it out in the underground. I know you through the underground, right? You and Craig, everybody, we came together through the underground. Like, but me, I wish in a way that I had more influence, but it is academic at a point. Right. You do have to look and read, and niggas don't read. We don't read books and really go through extensive research and stuff to get perspective. We don't. We're skim readers. We're Google researchers and have our positions, but it's like I don't really stand on any of it. I'm the third story. I'm outside looking in. Like I'm always coming from the alternative viewpoint. Look, like crate diggers. I'm from the crate digging era of hip hop. I'm a DJ. You can't see the turntables because my computer's on top of them and stuff. But we listen to hip hop records in the 80s and 90s, and they're coming from original records. When we go to the record stores, we need to know what those original records are before we even get there.
Right.
We don't have the internet. We have to have an idea. I know what that is. This, and that. So you can really, if not, you're going to go into a record store and you might be there for several days and you're just looking and listening to records because you don't know what you're looking for.
Right.
You have no idea what you're doing.
So, okay, but before that, I got to give a shout out to Cap 10K. You know what I'm saying? The one man against the army. So, yeah, Cap, this is DJ Seanski. You know, like I said, I'll be bringing some fire to the channel. I'll be bringing blood. DJ Seanski was there. I think he was there before you joined.
Yeah, 97 to 02.
Yeah, he was there. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, if you want to talk with DJ Seanski, rap with him, man, I'll be glad to set that up. DJ Seanski is always up for the challenge, but he got his eyes set right now on the Slim Reaper, aka Leandre, aka
Slim Reaper. The Slim Reaper.
So yeah. So DJ Seanski. Okay. So that little recording I played, I wanted to get I want to know this, right? I want to know this. Like I see this guy Jacob, and I heard little stories about you going up against people with their bachelors and masters and some of their PhDs and stuff like that. Can you tell me a little about that?
Let's keep it funky. So I don't have a degree in science or history. I have a BE in communications media from Indiana University of Pennsylvania. So I'm an amateur historian. So is everybody else in these groups and back chats that debate and stuff. We're amateurs. I only represent the scholar people's works and look for the sources that would validate my position. We're amateurs, man. In these back chats and in these debate leagues, we're amateurs, man, and accept that. So me and John Winifred was an amateur debate between two amateur historians, and it was a great conversation. I was on a show with a guy named Dr. Aaron Adair. He has a PhD from Ohio State in physics. I'm not a physicist, man. I'm not going to debate him. How dare me? I'm going to ask questions and I'm going to have a conversation, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to challenge his premise at that point. How can I do that? I'm going to say these people that I deal with look at it this way versus the way you look at it. And that's pretty much all I can do. But me and Jacob, and he done it more than me, obviously. Jacob interviews and is in contact with everybody that's major academians in history and in biblical studies. Point blank. We have access to them. I'm in a Discord server with him, and everybody's in there, man. Straight up. I'm not coming like the typical nigga would. I'm gonna say it that way and just be like, hey, man, I don't agree with you. I don't agree with a lot of people's postulations that are PhD. I don't do that, though. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't even matter at the end of the day. These are people who have their different ideas, but they're more credentialed than we are, for sure and for certain. We rely on their information. They're external sources to whatever it is we're trying to postulate. But there are some heavy hitters in there. I'm gonna give a shout out to Bart Ehrman. Bart Ehrman is a tremendous scholar, man, and he's a guest on the show a lot. Jacob's pushed the mythicists off to the side, like Dr. Robert Price. We've heard some things about him making racist statements, and I want to talk to Ratchet Craig because he said he has receipts. I've talked to Dr. Price on personal telephone calls, and he's never called me a monkey or anything like that, but just said that he's talking shit like that. Like, damn. Richard Carrier is not a guest of the show anymore. Richard Carrier really isn't a mainstream academician, though, so to speak. He may have an opposing view. But Jacob has a tremendous show. He has over 10,000 subscribers. And he had alternative people, even though Professor Heinz was alternative, but he's an academician. He's had alternative people on, but then that always doesn't work out the right way, I'm going to say. So he's decided to leave it mainstream and put out as much as he can. And you have to separate and disseminate what people are saying, if you will. But Black people, we don't do that. I know we're way underread. We're way underread because videos are videos, but we read, man. I read. I probably haven't had the time to read within about the last 3 years, at least. I see you changed up again.
I didn't.
I don't read as much as I used to, but God, man, Black people, I'm with the world of academia, whether I agree or disagree. This is where we have to start and challenge. Again, I say there's a lot of misinformation out there. Yes, there is. But you have to know where to look, where the information is. And then you can personally challenge those ideas. You don't have to go to the scholars. I didn't watch the video, but Dr. Carrier was supposedly had a video that Garfield put on with Gorilla Hebrew. Really? I mean, I'm just saying. Okay, sure. Though where I'm coming from with the academians, Hindstone, though he died, he has a really strong hand of challenge to the archaeologists, to the Egyptologists, that biblical archaeology is off and doesn't yield any results because you're in the wrong time period anyway.
Right,
So I'm gonna say you're looking at the wrong. You have things dated wrong, so it looks so confusing in the ground. You don't know what's good. By the way, I'll bring up too. So what the Bible does to history is it eliminates cultures that were historically known out of the history books.
Mm.
When the archaeologists were looking for the cultures that existed according to the Bible, they're like, and Greek historians, they're like, where is it? What's going on? We can't find the Chaldeans. Oh, snap, we found the Sumerians. Nobody knew nothing about the Sumerians back in the times of the Greeks in 500 BCE. Nobody. But Jules O'Hare in 1869 was like, we found something older than Chaldea. We will take now Chaldea out of the history books. Damn, the Greeks talked about Chaldea of Ur as being a cradle, if not the cradle of civilization. So now they're replaced by Samaria, which nobody even knew about. Then the second problem is the Medes. The Bible mentions the Medes. The Medes are the Mitanni. They're duplications of each other because then the Medes don't have any archaeology, but the Mitanni does, and they have the same attributes. They're Indo-European or Indo-Aryan horse breeders, and they're doing the same thing at different parts in history, but it's the same story. Same thing with the Persians. Persians don't have history because it's really the satraps. I made that word of myself. Satrapies of Persia are really the Assyrians. It's the same shit.
Right.
But the Bible confuses everything. And they get they have made some comments to my master teacher on YouTube, like, this is a conspiracy. Oh my God, no. And it's like, whoa. I know you reacted. I know by you doing that, my master is winning. He won, but I'll have to walk you through it. If you can have a PhD and not really know about certain shit, and it makes you go, oh shit. Or you're going to be like, oh no, that guy there is just crazy. He doesn't understand what he's talking about. He made a conspiracy where there is no conspiracy, or a problem where there's no problem. I was accused of that with the friendly debate with John Winifred. Like, you guys are making an argument or a problem where there's no problem. No, there's always been a problem. That's why sources beyond 1950 are necessary. You have to engage the argument of the idea at the time it even came up.
So 1500. Let me ask you a question right quick. So now you have some individuals, right, that'll say that what if your source, like what you said, like you said 1960s or 1950s, right? 1950 sources. What if they say that source is outdated and you shouldn't use that?
That's crazy. I mean, for certain things, yes, because me and Ratchet Craig or Good Craig have talked about in the past, like, to a degree, I can see that. But to understand the origins of the ideas, you have to look at the arguments of the time. So I have to use sources from the 1800s and 1700s and 1600s, where ideas that we adhere to today were being challenged then. They're always being challenged, man. Damn. We can't do that. We can't say sources are invalid past a certain date. No. You have to look at the origins of the ideas and know that there was controversy then. Hell, I bring it up all the time. I would have never known. The books are on my top shelf. I'm not even going to show them. That when Flinders Petrie, the greatest archaeologist of all times, Flinders Petrie, they're excavating everywhere in the Near East. There was controversy at the time, like I would have never known about. Hey, we're in 6th century Palestine. We're digging. We got the Bible in one hand, though, too, in the dates. We're digging in 6th century, and boom, there's tax records which are scarabs of tax records that go back to Amenhotep and Tutmos. Then those are 1,000-year-old tax records in a 1,000-year period further ahead. Those are fakes and forgeries, or they're heirlooms. Motherfuckers don't have 1,000-year-old heirlooms. We don't keep tax records that long. A couple years and you throw them the fuck out. I keep records. I have a file cabinet, but damn, don't tell me people 1,000 years forward from the past we're walking around like I have tax records from Amenhotep and Tutmos from Egypt. No, maybe you're looking. Maybe the era is wrong. Did King David exist in 1,000-ish BCE or like 600s BCE? Come on. When did David really exist, and Solomon and Jesse and Joshua? They existed way back then. You might be looking in the wrong place for these people. And you start to figure it, but story written sources aren't reliable for history. No, archaeology tells a story. What does it? So we have the nowadays with black people, there's a fight breaks out and niggas start shooting. Some people get shot. The forensic scientists come out, the experts come out, and they can see and recreate the crime scene by shell casings. This person shot from there, or this happened this way, that way. There's blood there. Same thing happened with Custer and Sitting Bull. Who won? We have to send people out, count shells, and reconstruct it, right? We have to see what really happened. History is done the same way through the archaeological record. So the archaeologists at the time dated the archaeology based on the standard chronology, which leaves gaps and spaces and problems. Listen, so I'm gonna give you another example because I'm speaking on a scholarly level now. So if we believe there was a Hyksos invasion, okay, and in Exodus, that's roughly 1500 BCE. But according to what the archaeology reveals, and it was done by the great Egyptologist and archaeologist Manfred B. Attack. His most recent excavations in Avris, Egypt, he shows that the Hellenistic periods from 300 BCE to about 525, and right underneath the Hellenistic period from 300 BCE to 525, right there is late Ramsey period. But because the textbooks already say Ramsey happened pretty much almost 1,000 years before that, he put a hiatus in between the archaeology to match the textbook dates. But if you look at the archaeology, then if it's 525 BCE, where the Hellenistic layer, they're only 1 meter layers, that's 3 feet. If Ramsey late period is right underneath it, that means Ramsey period was probably around 535 BCE going backwards, not 1200 or whatever they say it is. You feel what I'm getting at now?
Right.
History's been misconstrued to where you can't see it. But then, so my master teacher, my master, had a question for him back in 88. Why did you put the hiatus gap in between the Hellenists and Ramsey period, late period, if it runs right into each other? He never answered, but it was because the textbook says so. You have a preconceived route. So you got to put a gap in there and say that this goes back to 1200, we'll say approximately. Then from the next layers, which are still only 1 meter, which is 3 feet, the Hyksos come in and now it's separated with 80 years, 100 years, all within a simple, small sample of 1 meter. The archaeology says something different. It looks like Ramses and those guys were more recent than what you say, which would make the Nubians 25th dynasty more recent, according to the archaeology, because it's weird for them too. So when David, King David is popping, and Solomon, and they're just running shit, that's in the third intermediate period of Egypt. A dark age for them is a high age for Israel and Palestine. It's not in the archaeology to reveal that at all for almost 1,000 years. But if you're going to say David and Solomon existed, they would have had to existed in around the 600 BCE era also, because of the archaeology excavated shows that building structures, they're called Aeolian capitals, the tops of pillars had a certain design after a certain period of time. And those are found throughout Gezer, Hazor, and Megiddo, which is cities that supposedly Solomon fortified. Well, that archaeology is more recent. So the biblical archaeologists were like, whoa, David and Solomon never existed. Elit Mazar said, the famous archaeologist said, oh, well, these capitals in this structure would have had to have been proto or 400 years before they really happened for this to work. She was wrong too. It's no Move it up 400 years. Move it up. Move David and Solomon up a little farther, and you'll figure it out. And I always say my monster says, I'll let the experts contend that David and Solomon really exist. I'm going to show you when they would have existed, and I'm going to back up and let y'all hash that out. But in the back chats, I'm going to go hard and say, well, then, according to the Armana letters, which would be moved closer to the present, as my master teacher showed me, my Jedi master showed me from David Roll's translations, damn, David and Jesse and Solomon even and Joshua, they're dangerous. Oh, these really some dangerous dudes, man. These are outlaws at the time. Like, whoa, these guys are really raw. These guys are they're not kings of kingdoms. No, you're some real outlaws, man.
So wait. I gotta drop the bomb. So wait, hold up.
Yeah, I know. I'm talking.
No.
Reconstruction. They're probably like, what's he talking about? Oh, Seanski, what is he talking about?
So DJ Seanski, right? So you mean to tell me that the biblical narrative, the Bible as we know it, was wrong? It wasn't that they were kings. They were something else.
There were empires at the time, and it looks like the Israelites were seizing and or at least in Canaan, taking control of it.
Right.
Plain and simple. The Bible says, well, God said this, that, and the other third, but they went ahead and tried to take it from the Canaanites. And they're like, help us, Egyptians, please. They're seizing the trade routes. And I know I'm painting a picture that way and being silly about it, but they're doing this to us. Please help us. They're killing the mayors. That's very serious stuff, man. And when my master teacher dropped it, I was like, I seen it clearly. Like, oh shit, this is really to be taken serious. So the Bible would portray them as having a kingdom, and it's going back into and it's no diss to the Jewish culture, legend and lore. It's not quite painting it the way the evidence shows it, but for some reason or another, these people had a revolt, sure, and uprising against. They call it captivity. I'm not saying it is or it isn't, but they came up and had an uprising against what was happening at the time. And it seems like David and Jesse, his daddy, were the main guys. Like, yo, fuck that. We're gonna do it now. Get these guys and get them out of here.
Right.
This is our anyway. And I'm like, damn, Israelites don't see it that way. Some scholars don't see it that way. I see it that way. Like, damn. I mean, they just, you know what I'm saying? They just came in like bullies. I hate to say it that way, like some real bullies, like, yo, you giving this up, that up, we tired of this, tired of that, back up, we're gonna punch you in the mouth, we're gonna and help us, Egyptians, please. I painted that picture, but other people from the videos I made with Hindstone doesn't see it, they don't see it that way. Like, you don't see what my master teacher just dropped really is this? You don't see what that's trying to say.
And so they're just
have to dumb it down from a scholastic level. An academic level down to real black people, how we talk like this. You don't see paint the picture that way. Good Lord, you don't see it then. You're blind as hell because you don't have an objective mind. You're all subjective. The Most High, and come on, man.
So DJ, so I gotta drop the bomb again. I gotta get man, because you going.
I'm just talking shit. I wanted Leandre to come in so I can say I really loved his conversation with you guys. But for then at the end of the day, him being a Christian apologist, I'm like, oh, come on, bro. You said all that to what? Prove that God's real? That's what you're gonna do to me?
Hey, so I want to introduce somebody very special. He's so special, right? He can put on a zoot suit and make it sharper than how it looks. Actually, it's so sharp. Cut a piece of paper and cut your ass if you walk past him the wrong way. I gotta introduce the one and only. He's known by many names. The ladies' man, the man who gets songs wrote about him by others. The legendary, the one and only Little Lucifer, aka Dr.Decorum, yo mama's favorite mailman, Muruwa. What's up, Chief?
Hey, what's going on, family? How y'all feeling?
Yeah, we're pretty.
Here he come with the track phone already. Come on, Moody.
How's my audio?
We
Bad.
Okay, hold on. Let me try this.
Staticky.
Let me try this.
Staticky.
Hold on.
It's staticky.
Hold on.
It's staticky.
Try something.
You sound good
How
right
about now?
there. You sound good right there, Elder Muruwa.
It's better now?
Yeah, it's better. It's better.
All right,
It's,
cool. Hey man, shout out to you, baby Craig. Classic Craig.
thank
Shout
you.
out to Ratchet Craig. Shout out to DMG for that build he did last night about Sonetta. And shout out to my partner, DJ Seanski, dropping
What's up, Miggy?
high level science on y'all. I mean, this is like, I don't think a lot of people can truly appreciate what they're witnessing right now with this conversation Sean is bringing to the community. These are conversations that are usually, they're usually real stuffy and held
Yeah.
in rooms that they speak convoluted language to where it won't trickle down to the common folk. And I appreciate my brother for having these conversations in plain English. And I tell people all the time, it's not always about how articulate you say a thing if it does not resonate with the
Yeah.
common folk. And that's an important thing. Like Mr. Smarty Pants, he comes on here and he speaks really articulate, but it's not
Yeah.
resonating with the common folks. But I'll just start it off like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because now my people's gonna look at this video and they're gonna see I'm just laid back talking slang and stuff. I wouldn't go on Jacob's channel and kick it like this. No, I mean I'm
Absolutely.
game face. It's time to get on the football field, put your helmet on, strap it up. There's academians in the room, and Jacob does a great job because he's interviewed far more academians than me. That's my homie. That's like,
Absolutely.
wow. I mean, I don't hold an opinion. I always say I'm not in the Discord. I think you're wrong here, and this is wrong there. I presented what I support, and that's pretty much it. It's just a part of the academic process.
Right.
And I have the juxtaposed argument. I hold the juxtaposed argument. I'm
Right. And
juxtaposing
just
everything.
and just so people know, Sean and I don't always agree on everything, but there's definitely a mutual respect
Yeah.
for the scholarship that he brings. There's no level of niggatry to it. It's not going to be name
Mhm.
calling and getting personal attacks and none of that. We can disagree, and you know what I mean. And that's just what intellectuals should be able to do.
Yeah.
Disagree sometime, and it
We
don't get personal.
and we broadly agree on a lot. So I care
Exactly.
about we broadly agree on a lot than what we may not agree on. So what?
Exactly.
You know, end of the day, guess what? Like I said before, I gotta go to work tomorrow. You're off the next couple of days. And we really get in these chats and conversations. We're family men, and a lot of us is grandfathers.
Absolutely.
I'm a grandfather now, man. Like, and all
Absolutely.
that. But I'm
And
still running these.
hey man, but it's us, bro. You got to remember this is us. This is we're Gen X, man. We're like
Yeah,
the last of
yeah.
a dying breed, bro.
Forget us.
Hip
Don't
hop
forget
is
us.
50
How you
years
gonna
old.
forget us? How you gonna
You know
forget
what
us?
I mean?
Y'all should be looking
Oh,
like so baby Craig will call me. Y'all should be looking at us old heads like help us old heads. But then some of us
right,
might be like, some of y'all might be like, no, they're just old heads. They don't get it.
right.
A lot
A
of
lot
my
of a lot of the
millennial friends say
youngsters,
it about boomers. Like,
a lot of the youngsters, they complain about why don't the older people have conversation with the younger folks, but when we do, we get hit with all kind of we're out of touch, we don't know what we're talking about, and all. I'm not saying, and I'm just saying a personal shot to anyone that's listening. I'm just saying, if we're going to grow, you're going to have to at some point listen to the people that might have a little bit more wisdom than you. That's it. They might not be as academically credentialed as you.
Right.
You could be a whole Nobel laureate out here. But if you don't have the wisdom in a certain subject, that means absolutely nothing in the trenches. So
Right.
it's like when you sit down, you get the benefit of listening to a brother like Sean. You get the benefit of listening to some of these other brothers that's born in the 60s and 70s that still have a vested interest in seeing us move forward. If you're a younger person, take advantage of that and at least listen to the people. That's all.
Right. That's
Yeah.
wise words from the elder, aka Dr.Decorum. Master Muruwa. So, and gentlemen, it is classic Craig. I'm no longer the baby, so it's over. You know what I'm saying?
Classic Craig.
Yeah.
See,
But,
you gotta earn classic, goddammit. You gotta earn classic. You can just be Craig right now. You gotta earn classic, goddammit.
yeah, no, but I gotta say this. Yo,
Be another more
Muruwa,
change too.
Muruwa, I'm really, really happy you came on, Chief. I'm really glad you came on, man. DJ Sean's dropping the bomb as usual. This show is fire. Cap 10K, I respect you a lot, Capitan, but these two gentlemen right here, right? Muruwa and Seanski, right? Now, these guys can give you a run for your money. I know you said you're up for the challenge. You know what I'm saying? We can set some things up because I do got some things lined up for everyone. There's enough for everyone, and there's more coming, and there's more coming. But getting down to business, I got one more question I got to ask DJ Seanski. Then after that, I'm going to get straight to you, Muruwa. So, DJ Seanski, now, one thing I got to ask you is this, right? There's a rumor going around that you are called the electric atheist, right? The thunder, the lightning, everything electrical, every even down to the dang electron. You is the electric atheist, right? And I know you are deep into the Thunderbolt Society is what they call, you know what I'm saying?
Thunderbolts Project, yeah.
Thunderbolt Project. So can you tell me a little bit about that and your involvement?
So it's I am involved. The Thunderbolts Project is a 501c3 that it's comprised of a lot of type of different people from scientific backgrounds, physicists, electrical engineers, mytho-historians, historians, etc. That goes back to Immanuel Velikovsky in that paradigm, if you will. And their basic premise is that gravity and inertia is not the dominant force in the universe. Electromagnetism is. There are physicists and plasma physicists, they're called, that look at the same things they see in space a different way.
Right.
And I, from my research, from a journalistic approach, would agree more with the Electric Universe Thunderbolts Project side and plasma physicists that say that electromagnetism is the dominant force and gravity is the weaker end of it, where it's the exact opposite of mainstream science. The guys I fuck with aren't big bangers. They're steady state and plasma physicists. They don't look at a universe with a beginning. It's just always been happening and creating within itself, not expanding, but growing. From the great astronomers like Halton Arp down to the great plasma physicists like Hannes Alfvén and the great Dr. Anthony Peratt. They cleared up a lot of stuff for me in my pursuit for the truth. Those guys eliminated Ancient Aliens as like, that's just a fun TV show. We shouldn't be talking about supernatural beings, entities, or any of that. We shouldn't be talking about that right now. We should be like, whoa, this looks different from laboratory work and predictable science about the ancient past than we think. Maybe it's different than what y'all trained it to be. No, it's either Big Bang, evolutionary Lao Darwinism, or creationism. And that's like, well, that's where I've separated myself to where I'm always going to be a critical thinker. And I know us as far as humans, we don't know as much as we think we do. And we may have to go back and rethink some things. But I go with the strong hand. So I've said, and I will quote myself, Walt Thornhill was the chief scientist and founder of the Thunderbolts Project and Electric Universe. Electric Universe theory really isn't a real theory. It's just a 501c3 name they essentially use for taking plasma physics and pushing it to the mainstream to make it easy for people. So a prophet in the Bible can tell you something's going to happen before it happens, and it happens. But the Bible is pre-recorded history, and we don't know necessarily if what they say happen is going to happen. But a scientist is based on their prediction. If you can predict something happens before it happens, then you got it. And I saw how messy it got because this physicist from Australia, Wal Thornhill, who is deeply entrenched in plasma physics, made predictions recently about events that were going to happen in our solar system recently. And within the last, we'll say 20 years, moving forward. And when he got his predictions right, the science community went, ah!
Been
They went nuts. And I was like, damn, when I objectively, through journalistic studies, looked at it, I was like, damn, I got to reach out to this guy. So if there's a prophet ever of you saying something's going to happen before it happens scientifically, you are a modern day prophet. None of these people we think were prophets in the Bible, and Isaiah said this and this person said that. No, hold up, stop. Slow down a second within our own solar system. And it's like preposterous that the science community doesn't go, eureka, yay, this man and this group figured out some stuff that we haven't quite figured out. We may want to listen to them. They're like, no, we got it right and you got it wrong. We're looking at the same thing. And I'm like, this guy actually got it right. No, he got it wrong. And we're going to ban you from YouTube and Facebook and Wikipedia. We're going to delete you because you're wrong and we're right. And I'm like, damn, I'm deeply entrenched in that level to where it's like, yeah, this guy was right. Mainstream scientists were wrong. Astronomers were wrong and shit. This little motherfucker just dunked on y'all, held his nuts. And I reached out to him in Australia, like in 2016 or 2017, like, you're a godsend. Then you are ahead of the curve and you figured it out to where, and when I figured out how he makes his prediction, I was like, thank you for telling me how you figured it out. Now I got the jewels. Now I see how you did it. And these guys, you got the mainstream world stumped to where they're like, oh no, he's not really a credentialed scientist, and his peer-reviewed papers, you know, they're just not, yeah, we're right and you're wrong, dude. And it's like, no, he's really right. You guys are hurt. They get really hurt and up in their feelings. Like, and that's how I know, like, whenever I'm winning or they're winning, it's like the reaction from mainstream academia. What the reaction is proves to me, like, yep, we're more right than you, buddy. I'm on y'all side, the underdog, you know?
Right.
Like, right. I got you. Like, yeah, you're a prophet, Wal Thornhill. You're really a prophet. You're really good at what you do. Teach me your secrets. And I'm being how I am now. But like, yeah, when he broke it down, I'm like, oh shit, that's how you did it? Yeah, man, just pay attention, nigga. Pay attention and you'll get it. You pay attention and you'll understand it's not really as complicated as mainstream science makes it to be. But they won't accept it because that means then if electric universe and plasma physics is right, you have to rewrite the history books. You have to really take a serious look at of our human past and reanalyze everything. You have to reanalyze it. You have to. But most people aren't willing to go through that because there's fear involved. From a philosophical stance, if you have fear of what the answer might be, that it could be an answer that shocks you, you don't need to really try to really embark on trying to figure out what the truth is. Are you afraid of the answer? I'm not afraid of any answer. Then you have to be honest with yourself to be intellectually responsible. Very honest. Right. Come on, man.
So check this out. So check this out, DJ. And I gotta ask Mudawa this right quick, man. I gotta ask your partner in crime this. So Dr.Decorum, Master Mudawa, man. What's good with you, Chief? Yeah.
Hey, what's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Everything's good, man. Everything's good. Just trying to keep intellectual honesty in our community. We have a responsibility to the next generation to be intellectually honest with the things we present to them. Like the days are long gone of us just saying things that might make us feel good, trying to move us forward. We're at a point where intellectual honesty about our history, about our culture, about who we are, where we were, what we were, where we're going is mandatory. So it's never personal when we have these discussions and we try to move people out of a dogmatic religious paradigm.
Right.
You know, it was. It might have been good at a time. It might have been good at a time. It might have been what we needed at that particular time. But as we move forward, can we still work from that paradigm? Is that paradigm still beneficial, or has it become somewhat of a crutch for our development? And I think we're at a point now to where most of it is a crutch.
Right. So you're basically anything biblical, like the Bible, and the Quran, anything of that paradigm, anything of that standard is a crutch to black people, basically.
Well, I think that it's disrespectful to our ancestors, our real ancestors, to say
Right.
that we had anything to do with them people in the Middle East. I think that's intellectually dishonest and a slap in the face to our real ancestors to say that some people out of Iraq, Iran had anything to do with us.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like at this point, we should be more intellectually advanced than that. Hold on
Right.
one second.
Right. Right. So
Yeah,
you're saying,
keep going. I'm looking at the chat now, Craig, and I'm going to try to address some of the questions. So the brother ISUPK St. Louis says, "What's my position on the Bible?" Um, from my studies and my journalistic research, the oldest manuscripts you have of the Old Testament, are the Aleppo Codex and Leningrad Codex, which are 10th, 11th century AD documents. Okay, it's rendering backwards to a different point in time, but the Bible included with mythology are memories, confused memories of stylized interpretations of actual events. So mythology in the Bible is mythology too, in the Old Testament especially. They're stylized interpretations of actual events. So I'm not taking away from the Bible having stylized interpretations of actual events. Their story is saying that these prophets had the power to go, like Joshua, the sun and the moon stand still, or Moses having special powers, opposed to other cultures maybe not having superhero types, I'm going to call them, but the gods depicted on the artwork that had these weapons and these things in their hands had the same power at the time of what people thought were the gods, if you will. Stylized interpretations of actual events, but yet confused memories, very confused memories. It obviously was a terrible time. Ancient people don't have all the answers at all. I don't look at none of the ancient people like they got it right. Hell no, they got it completely wrong. So my website and what I have out there is decoupling Jesus, first of all, from Christianity. With everything else I talk about, a whole bunch of different subjects, but I'm decoupling Jesus from Christianity. And people say, well, how do you do that? How do you decouple Jesus from Christianity? Well, it's pretty easy. Once you use the process of elimination of uh, the apostles being dumb fishermen, essentially, they didn't get it right. They couldn't understand what this guy was saying. I got to peel Paul away too, and Peter. I got to peel them away from it as just men that didn't get the message. And let's see if we can use the Gospel of John and the Gospel of Thomas singularly to see something different than what we might see through the Israelite eyes or even the Christian eyes. That's what my social experiment, so to speak, is based on, of what I have to offer to the conscious community, because most of us are Israelites and or come from a Christian background anyway. So maybe I can get people to see things different. We shouldn't discard the Bible, but I don't want to give you my truth on what I think the Bible is, but the Old Testament is definitely rooted in ancient mythology, same as the other cultures. And some of the ways I would present that information would probably blow people's minds, but that ain't for everybody. That is definitely not for everybody. I could make my own cult at this point and make a cult and say, for you to come in, once you accept the fact that the Bible might not be the word of God or the ultimate truth, I'll show you some things, and I'll let you be the decider of what you think that, how that has an impact on your life. Oh, because I can hammer people, man. I give tidbits in these back chats. I can hammer people and mess your mind up.
So
And really have you like, oh, most high. You know what I mean? And tripping like you have no idea what you're reading.
So Captain K, you know what I'm saying? He said, why can't you say what it is?
So your Old Testament, you're dealing with so then El, whether it be Molech, El and Molech, essentially, just El and Molech are the opposites of the same deity, which is planetary worship. You're worshiping the planet Saturn, my friend, whether you think you are or not. Yahweh is a warrior god, which could be Jupiter, but really isn't, because Jupiter in the pantheon of mythology, that planet was way more powerful than Saturn. But you're reading really the essentially of the reformation and the realignment of your inner solar system. And they thought that these were gods and wild deities, and they were, oh, God is coming in, he's throwing lightning bolts. You have no, it's the rearrangement of your inner solar system. Though I was taught that partially at IUBK back in the day. They didn't go too deep into it. But that's real heavy Kabbalistic research and comparative mythology. But yeah, you're reading about your inner solar system changing in the past and human beings reacting to that is what you're reading. Whether you think you are or not, that's what you're really reading, dude. All across the planet, which is why, and I love Mudawa. Lyle Darwinism cannot explain as to why when we had the rise of the Bronze Age cultures, what accompanied that was religious systems that relied on human and animal sacrifice. Human sacrifice and animal sacrifice. So the Israelites would go, that was evil. We want the cause of that evil then, God damn it. Why would somebody do that? Why would you appease a god by taking a virgin or a human being and going, wakakao? What's that about? Don't give me the demon, all these entities and stuff. No, human beings were doing that shit, and it probably didn't have anything to do with what we think had to do with. If right now, all right, we have 365 days in a year. I'm going to give you the scenario then. We're going to cut it back to 360. We're going to take 5 days off. That means the orbit of our planet is going closer to the sun. There's going to be devastating consequences to that. And the same thing happened in the past, and we don't see that. There was 360 days on a calendar until the 7th century BCE. You can't account for the intercalary days as they say, well, there's 360-day calendars everywhere, but there's 5 extra days that people just added on to it. You see, calendars went from 360 to 365. And at that same time, they're saying, oh, and I'm paraphrasing here because I'm going to be silly about it. The raging eye in Egypt, Horus, the eye of Horus, Hathor, revenge came and she tried to kill everybody. And wow, she just went crazy. Woo. What that's really describing is Venus was in conjunction with Saturn, and Venus appeared like a comet in the sky. And our Earth's fucking in our rotation at the time, we passed through the tail of Venus twice, nigga. Twice. And it fucked everything up. Fucked it up. And we don't see it, that science and myth converging to where it's like, whoa, can that be the case? Your God is really what's happening around you and our environment changing drastically. I'm more entailed to support the third story in that line of reasoning than anything else out there, because you can prove it through science today, yes, and we can prove it through mythology and calendars and everything we have. Yes, we can prove that the mother goddess wasn't a woman whose hair was on fire and she's a demon. It's actually Venus, looked like it was on fire. We passed that sounds crazy, right? Or is it crazy? In the beginning, God created in the heavens and earth is crazy. And Mudawa, millions and billions of years ago, boom. Something we're not seeing. So I'm going to answer it that way and just go radical like I normally do.
So man, I gotta drop the bomb.
Natural explanation versus mysticism and mythology. Damn, this changed my life whenever I researched Velikovsky. Like, damn, this guy here,
Drop the bombs again, DJ Seanski. Man, you going. So this is the thing I gotta ask you two gentlemen, right? So yo, Mudawa, you there?
Yeah, I'm still here, bro.
All right. So I gotta ask you two gentlemen this, right? So DJ Seanski, you would be classified as a atheist, right?
Yes, according to the definition.
According to the definition.
Sure.
No God, you know what I'm saying? None of that. So Mudawa, right? What would you be classified as, Chief?
Exactly the same.
Exactly
Exactly
The same, bro.
the same.
We
So
don't subscribe to the Bible God or the God of the Quran as our deities and everything.
so Mudawa, right? What led you to this path and being godless?
Excellent question. I think that when you apply common sense, logic, and a lack of evidence,
Mm-hmm.
it would be hard to insert a God into our existence. And we have a God in our existence because of the culture we live in. We live in a Judeo-Christian society. Most of us, as being African American, we came through the Protestant church, whether it was Baptist or whatever,
Right.
and via the ugly truth is we took on master's religion, and it's just that simple. It's like
Right.
there's no there's no disrespect. That's not a shameful thing to say. That's not an ugly thing to say. It's just historically accurate.
Right.
You know what I mean? If Master would have been a Nazi, we probably would have been Nazis. If Master would have been a Buddhist, we probably would have been Buddhists. It's just one of those historical truths that we can't run from. But when we look fast forward to 2023, now I know there's going to be people that come with Christianity was in Africa before it was in Europe, and we have the Coptic Christians in Ethiopia and all that. Get that out of here. They're converts as well. They were converts as well. So
Yes.
let's not play that game.
Preach
So
on, preach on.
so we're not even gonna play the little games that some of our folks like to play when it comes to this subject matter. The fact of the matter is, and I'm not just ragging on the Abrahamic faiths. I'm saying that anything that removes the responsibility of our future from the self is something that we don't need. I don't care what it is. If you start thinking it's aliens, if you start thinking it's whatever, we need to start being very introspective as a people and saying to ourselves, how do we move forward as a people? We don't need supernatural solutions for man-made problems. I'm going to say this again. We don't need supernatural solutions for man-made problems. We need man-made solutions for man-made problems. Do you feel what I'm saying, Craig?
Right. I,
Yes, 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 yes.
so force went pretty much done in the first place.
Wait a minute, hold on.
You
Man,
breaking up, Craig?
I stepped away for a second because I'm still going to address ICBK St. Louis because I'm an old man, so I'll go to my notes. I'll go to my notes. So I'm make a
Into the notes. There you
I'm
go.
gonna make a book. These notes are old. I have a composition book. Seanski does that type stuff. Let me see what I got here in my bag, and I'm gonna make a statement, a broad statement. Okay, these gods are one and the same. Apollo, Hercules, Perseus, Theseus, Coyote, Raven, Shu and Haru, Men, Negro, Marut, Mars, Aries, Exipe, which is Aztec, Scarface, which is Blackfoot, the Morning Star from Pawnee lore, Indra, Ravana, Typhoon, and Saladus, and also Yahweh, Yahweh, because he follows the same type of attributes, and these are global deities. The founding father if you want to look at it that way. Quetzalcoatl, Ra-Atum, Brahma, Shang-Ti, Huang-Ti, Omieta, Itzama, and Anu, Utu, Shamash, Helios, Sirius, Sol, El, and Elyon, El. The Most High God. You don't see it that way. I know you don't. I know you'll never see it that way. And those are old notes. These are going back to like 2015. These are old notes. And it's like, shit. Once I figured that out, I was like, oh, well, damn. So the Bible is based on deities from other cultures that were the same under the national guise and regional language of the people of those places. Yahweh the most popular now. Like Yahweh ain't nobody new. He follows the same pattern in mythology. We can talk about that. And everyone will go African. I know says what'd she say? He said that's a lie. UBK St. Louis said that's a lie. Remember Mudo back in the day? That's a lie. That's a goddamn lie. Fuck you, you black motherfucker. Fuck the police. Remember that shit? He said that's a lie. Because this is scholastic and you have to read it and understand petroglyph studies of symbols and the symbols that appeared on temple art across the world, and the language behind the symbols. It'll all make sense. The Bible don't have no symbols. It's just a language. It's really the same thing told a different way. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. These are the same gods. Though the Bible greatly excludes the woman, the mother goddess was the greatly feared of all the gods in ancient mythology anyway. I mean, either way, the ISUPK people are, man, I know. Y'all ain't gonna never see it. I took a different route. I took a journalistic, and I took the internal road. This is internal. This isn't about, this is me here. So I'm gonna take a different road because I see y'all guys don't got it right. And it's all spiritual. The Jesus coming back, Yahweh is coming back by the year 2000. Oh my goodness. And I'm not arrogant enough to say that I have all the answers according to the Bible, and I'm going to start my own cult church like Elder Rakal or anybody else that left. I mean, ISUPK, and like I said, good people, but you're going about it all wrong. And don't listen to me. Right. Challenge yourself. Or are you afraid? Are you scared? Challenge yourself. I can prove everything I say. I'm an empiricist. I'm a different breed. And what I don't know, I say, I don't know. What are the origins of human beings? Me and Moody go at it. I'm like, I'm not agreeing with Lyell Darwinism or creation. It may be punctuated equilibrium with catastrophe. I don't know the whole thing, man. But I'm not certainly looking at any ancient mythology like this is it. These people said this is how humankind was created, and this is where we came from. Especially the misconstrued way the Bible puts it. I got hatchets, man. I told you I'm Luke Skywalker, man. Remember Luke in Return of the Jedi was, man, he had on black. He walked up in Jabba's palace like, out of here, man. I'm not playing with y'all, but the things I have to tell y'all, you won't ever research them. I know even biblically when God said, let there be light, through the Zohar and my tremendous scholars that I'm associated with. And I am very arrogant. I have the truth. Oh my goodness. That the first light was the Wajet from Egypt. I'm making a bold statement because I want to debate somebody on this eventually. The first light, when God said, let there be light, that was the Wajet from Egypt, the eye in the sky. Who wants to debate me on that? And then we'll get to what that eye actually was, but it's the eye in the sky that irradiated the planet from end to end. And you can see it, the eye in the sky, the primal eye. The sinners reveled in, like, yes, the eye is here. And God took it away, but he kept it for David and Abraham and Solomon for the true understanding of this primal eye that irradiated the planet, which is physical. If you irradiate anything with radiation. It's physical. It's not the sun in the sky, because it doesn't look like a fucking eye. When you look up in the sky, does the sun look like an eye? The Wajet looks like an eye in Egypt. What is that then? What are they talking about? I will slice you guys in pieces, but it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. You're not even intellectually there to want to know what the truth really is, because it will scare the shit out you. It ain't what you think it is. It will really have you go, oh, human being. So human beings, we need to get along. We need to come up out this racism ideology. Whether you be a neo-Nazi or a black nationalist, you need to come up out of that and say, hey, we suffered through some hard times, and what we may not have known what it was back in the day, we know what it is now according to science that may not be academically accepted science, but it is academic science. Yes, absolutely.
Man. Another shot from
Well, that was the Wajet. So anybody wants to debate, was Egypt, did the Bible plagiarize Egypt? Then, yep. Yes, it did. I don't know how the Jewish culture in the 1000 AD, 1100 AD period did that and knew, like, well, let's just say when God said, let there be light, it was really the Wajet. What? But none of the black scholars can break this down. None of them can do that. Might be me being in academia, I'll go, oh, shit. Nobody's ever going to believe me. Y'all ain't going to believe me.
Man.
So how do we move forward?
ISUBK,
We have a
Mr. ISUBK St. Louis, you don't even know what you're way, you don't have no idea what you're reading, dude. No idea. Thank you, Dr. Velikovsky. Thank you, Walt Thornhill. Thank you, David Talbot. Thank you, Eduardo Cardona. Thank you, Michael Armstrong. Thank you, Thunderbolts guys. It showed me really what it is without putting it out to the public to where people go, they already went anyway, because they're putting out the contradiction and the errors in mainstream mythological science. But to go into the mythology is like, whoa, do y'all know what y'all were looking at? Do y'all really know what the fuck you're even talking about? Look, I'll bring something else up to further what I'm trying to say, which you don't get. The Deacon Astronomical Ceiling in Egypt, it's on the wall, it's up top. When you look up, Orion is westward of Sirius. In this on the map. Orion is to the west of Sirius. When anytime we look in the sky, Orion is east of Sirius. And it's moving in the wrong direction. It's moving eastward in the Deacon Astronomical Ceiling instead of westward. And it's like, what the fuck? So Velikovsky brought this shit up to scholars years ago. And they said, well, maybe the Egyptian scribes, they made a mistake. You can see where they made mistakes on the wall in the ceiling and actually corrected it. The shit's backwards, man. In the 7th century, what we would say would be the 7th century BCE, the ceiling is oriented backwards, man. The constellation Orion is moving in the wrong direction.
So DJ,
wait. It means it was moving in the wrong direction at the time. They captured it and they said the sun rose in the west twice.
Right.
So what the fuck does that mean? You have 360-day calendars. Your calendars changed because something bad happened, but God didn't do shit. They said it was God. Oh my God. God said, fuck it. Let's push the button and change the orbit of the planet. No, but y'all ain't even there to even think that that's even what it was. Oh, I'm on a deep level. I'm on a real deep level. I'm sorry. I'm over everybody's heads. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
You hype DJ Seanski. I get you.
I apologize. Because I passed stuff because it's like, damn.
Yeah.
Damn. And this is real shit. Velikovsky was slammed by the science community for this shit. To the point where he couldn't even speak at Princeton University to the student body for 9 years. And Carl Sagan and his bitch ass, Dr. Tyson's a part of that, even though he's black and he's cool and stuff. They try to decimate that man's career for that. Oh, no, because of probability and statistics, the Earth has been going around the sun for 4.5 million years, 1 billion years. And that's just the way it is, man. What are you talking about? What are you trying to really say happened in the past? I'm saying human beings look like we went through some real crazy shit in the past. Matter of fact, I'm going to let you know, since I don't know what I'm talking about. Venus, the mother goddess in antiquity, with her hair on fire and devastated the nations and had everybody scared, like, oh no, Venus, whatever name you called her by, is going to be very hot. You say it's a twin of the Earth? No, it's going to be very hot. It would seem is if the Earth passed through Venus's tail, in your biblical story too, twice, Egyptian stories and all, twice, and it burned the planet up, physical reality to your spookism, then Venus's planet has got to be like hot enough to melt lead. Yes, he's right. Jupiter should send out radio emissions. It's electrically charged. He's right there. The moon should have magnetized rocks that hold a charge. Right there again. So the experts were like, he was lucky. He said, no, I just gathered this from ancient texts and put it together based on the language. Like these people are describing something with these really extravagant stories that's actually a scientific story. The Earth passed through Venus's tail twice and it burned the planet up. That's your God. Those are your gods. Physical reality behind it. I can prove what I say. But either way, pseudo, whatever. Who's that? Rasta man? Fuck you, Rasta man. Yeah, fuck you, Rasta man. Fuck you, nigga. Straight up. I have to say it like that. Fuck you, nigga. Because I have the third story. I'm on a whole different intellectual level. There's 2 stories, but there's really 3 stories. I'm on the third side. Like, y'all don't understand what you're reading. You don't even get it. You don't get it.
Son, that's Google Scholar, the Google Scholar, the one who debated.
I'm so sorry for cussing at you, Devin. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, calm down, chill, man. And
I love you, brother.
Tanakos, right?
Dennis, you gonna rumble Dennis too, nigga? you and look, so Leandre, this isn't about yes, it's based on academia. So Rasta man is 100% on the academia side. I'm not. We can argue to the cows crow, whatever. We can do it. My master teacher's name is Professor Gunnar Heinsohn from Germany. Well, it's actually Poland, but he's German born. Professor Gunnar Heinsohn. The only one of my peers that I call master. He's my master. Master Heinsohn. He's the one I bow down to and say, yes, master. Yes. I'm going to put a presentation on the Ivory's channel with his slides. I'm going to show you how Islam and Christianity are contemporary from the first to 3rd century AD.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Nation Age. But like let me get with Mudawa right quick.
Look at Rasta man. I love you, Rasta man, but it's cool. You can juxtapose me. We'll get it. So okay, again, Leandre, the back chat is not it. We're basing our stuff on academia, but we're not academians, man. You want to hold we're gonna hold ourselves to a high standard. Yes, we are. Some of us definitely are, whether it be mainstream or alternative. We're still holding ourselves to a high level, but we're not academians. I graduated from college. I don't say, hey, Rasta man, you didn't graduate from college, so I'm smarter than you. I'm the smart guy. I know everything and you don't. Nah, man, we're peers that way. Mudawa, we peers. We all peers, like we just talking, man, and presenting what we present. I'm standing hard on my foundation, and that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is.
So let me get with Mudawa, DJ Sean. I know you going.
Yeah, I'm going because y'all got me. I'm drinking beer and stuff. And it's my Sunday. I'm trying to go. I'm trying to go out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
So right quick, I gotta ask this. Tanakos, right? I hope I'm saying that guy's name wrong. Right, not wrong. Damn. He said, what was the name of your master teacher, DJ Seanski?
I said, well, for me, I have peers within the Thunderbolts Project. So all the principal members of the Thunderbolts Project and contributors were peers. But one man I called master is Professor Gunnar Heinsohn. That's my guy. Whereas I looked at him like Luke to Obi-Wan. He's my Obi-Wan, man. And he's German. He ain't even a black dude. He's German, and he enlightened me so much that I'm like, oh shit, he answered questions I had since the 80s. And y'all wasn't even born in 83. Most of y'all wasn't born in 83. If y'all was, okay, cool. But I've had questions concerning the dark ages of Europe and Egypt, etc. since then. Even through my college years, I have questions about this stuff. And Gunnar Heinsohn cleared me up. That's why I call him master. And my master died on me. And it's like, I have his work. So I can present his work as if I'm him. But I'm me. I'm going to present his work on Ivory's channel, his slides about Islam and Christianity being contemporary from the first 3 centuries AD and not Islam being pushed further back
Right.
into antiquity. I'm gonna read my master teacher's slides. My master, yes, master. And this stuff hurts me. Trust me, it hurts me. He's somebody I thought I could call on the phone anytime and be like, "Hey man, let's do a video." And then he died, and it was like, "Oh shit." He was already 80, and I didn't know he had cancer. Like, God damn it. I mean, it hurts me, but I'm the within our community, I'm a holder of the torch with his work. I can present his work and show you how, though, because I'm older, man. I came up in a public school system in America in the 80s, and I went to university in 87. So I'm from a different era, and what they were teaching us then wasn't in the textbooks at the time. My younger cousins came up in 99, 2000, etc. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Y'all don't know about the Byzantine era and the Dark Ages and all this European history? No, we go right to pretty much American history. Like, oh shit. So you don't see there's a problem with Byzantine, Roman history and biblical history at all. You don't even know. You don't even know what the hell's going on. No, I'm like, okay, well, I'm presenting it to the younger audience that may not know, and some of the older audience that may not have been exposed to it. You can't Roman history is really fake as hell, man. It's so fake that they made themselves greater than they were, so that after 1000 AD, essentially, the Holy Roman Empire was propped up way more than what they was to rival the Byzantine, which were the daddy, opposed to Rome, which was the little brother.
Right.
I'm saying it that way, and it falsifies history. It falsifies the Holy Roman Empire. Like, damn, why you falsify it that way? Why'd you make me believe that you're greater than thou?
So DJ Shine, right? I gotta ask you this, and I gotta get to Dr.Decorum himself, right? So you blasted out a challenge, right? Of debate topics, right? A couple of them, right? Now, the honorable and the most craziest and coolest guy in the world, Ratchet Craig Shrugs, right, said, and I actually pretty much put a lot of emphasis in it too, right? We were going to create something called the Versus, right? And with the right, it is a pretty much a next generation of his early debate league called Back Alley Debates, REAP, RIP, for that. It was reborn into the Versus, the battle of the ideologies, right? So we would have multiple opponents there, you know what I'm saying? It's a pound for pound, a blow for blow, you know. I already got 2 matches set up, right? And I was wondering if you want to jump into that, you know, and we can start working out those details with that, you know?
I could. You know, I'm always down for whatever. And look, I'm looking at roster, man. I know we have the Dead Sea Scrolls. Sure. The 11th century, listen, roster, man. Everything we know right now about Christianity and Judaism is from the 11th century and up. And the Renaissance is when we're really getting it like that, bruh. That's all I'm saying. And I'm backing up. All the ancient sources of Vesuvius, Josephus, Manetho, they're from the Renaissance era, bruh. And straight up.
And I gotta give a shout out Roster Man, aka Google Scholar. I know you and him are gonna have a conversation.
It's like, so I don't care what the mainstream academians say. I know when it happened. And I'm saying, bullshit, you're lying to me about something. You're up to something because you're telling me these things happen in Vesuvius, Manetho, Josephus. Yay! Where's the originals to that stuff, man? We don't have them. How'd you get to the reconstruction of it without the originals? And you know the dates of everything? Gotcha. Look, we go this way. Gotcha. Okay. Sure.
So DJ, yeah, I know you want to hog the mic, but you gotta let Mudawa have it, man.
Hey, go ahead, Mudawa. Go ahead.
You gotta let him have it, brother. So, yo, Mudawa, I hope you didn't fall asleep, Mudawa. You know how.
No, I'm still here, bro.
You know. But yo, so Mudawa. So again, you're an atheist. You're soulless. You're not going to heaven. You're going to hell. So this is the thing I want to ask you, right? Check this out, right? Now, you are all for the advancement of Black people, right? It's no disrespect to the ancestors. It's no disrespect to the people that came before us and the people right now who are in a paradigm. But honestly, as a man at your age, you feel like that this is not the way for us as a people.
When you say this, what do you mean by this is not the way? What is that this?
The different religions, right? The different ideologies that pretty much put us in a fantasy based off of how some of you guys, right? Things that
I
are
think I think morality. If your morality needs training wheels in order for you to be a good human being in this world, by all means continue down your moral path. If it takes you reading a particular book for you to be a more moral person, go right ahead and do so. I don't have a problem with that. Some of us, our morality is not attached to a spiritual system. Some
right,
of us, and when you really think about it, it's actually a more honest position. It's a more bold position because I don't have the threat of hell or the promise of heaven hanging over my head for my actions. I'm a good human being because I'm a good human being.
right.
I'm not a good human being because I'm scared God's going to punish me if I'm not a good human being. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so when you move in that light, you're moving in a pure form of humanity. You're moving in a form of humanity that says, hey, I love my brothers and sisters because these are my brothers and sisters. I'm doing the right thing, not because I feel like I'm going to get punished, but because I have one thing. And what is that thing? That thing is empathy. Empathy is what creates morality. It's not no religious text. And this is the part that a lot of people get wrong. I don't need to pray to somebody in order to have empathy for you. If me and you was walking down the street, if me, you, and the most staunch Christian was walking down the street and we saw a car seat with no parents around and a baby screaming his or her eyes out, I would probably be the first one to snatch that baby up like, what the heck's going on around here?
Right.
Protecting the child. See, it doesn't take a God concept for me to do that. It doesn't take a God concept for me to help the homeless and feed the homeless. It doesn't take a God concept for me to not put my hands on women. It doesn't take a God concept for me to not pollute my temple with drugs. It doesn't take a God concept for me to do any of that. But some people need training wheels on their morality. I get it. So if that's what you need, go right ahead and do it. But don't say everybody needs it. That's my position.
That's your position.
So you're a humanist then, Mudiwa, you're a humanist?
A natural
Yeah.
humanist, absolutely.
Yeah. And I've always admitted that too. Like I have humanistic principles and values. Sure. Yep. I don't think that's too difficult to attain.
Right.
Unless
The
you're
sky,
just,
the sky
you
is not
know,
going to bust open and punish us because of something that happened to some goat herders 3,000 years ago in the Middle East. That's ludicrous to even think like that. The
yeah.
sins of your father, the sins of your father, the sins of your father is metaphorically meaning that if your daddy didn't have his shit straight, more than likely you ain't gonna have your shit straight.
I
It's a
mean,
metaphor.
and you know, Mudiwa, I like to use real world examples of things. So again, God is an ambiguous term. I don't even know what that term means. But a creator is responsible for the design and production of something. So let's look at it this
Mm-hmm.
way. Elon Musk then is sitting on top. He might be the God. Elon Musk doesn't create shit. He has other people creating it for him.
Mm-hmm.
So creator and God are two different terms, and I don't even know what a God encompasses. I have no idea. I ask people these questions all the time. To me, what I would envision as what the word God would mean would come from the contraction, at least good. And the God I see in the Bible and Quran isn't good at all. It's like you're from coming from a human perspective of what they think, and this God or creator, all wrapped up into one, is confused as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, you so confused and emotional and misogynistic and stuff to where it's like, what? So for me, what I have to offer people, and this is more for Christians, my website's coming back up. My cousin transferred all the articles, and what me and some other peers attempt to do is decouple Jesus from Christianity and show you the true nature of the Old Testament, to whereas you have to at least see that Jesus, after the deconstruction and reconstruction, was against what the Judaic system held as ideologies of God in the first place from the Old Testament. Damn, it's ugly. It's like so ugly, like shit. But not
What
to say
happened?
that he's the
Quick
savior of the
question.
world. I'm not saying that either. I'm not saying
Quick-
that either. But nonetheless, damn, can we decouple Jesus from the men that were supposedly around at the time from their?
So hold on
Can
right quick. Mudwal, you said you got a quick question.
Yeah, like, and this is like lightweight rhetorical. But if we look around the world globally, when we look at countries that don't have an Abrahamic God complex or have an atheistic ideology as the country as a whole, we don't see crime running rampant. We don't see child kidnapping and molestation running rampant. We don't see rape of women running rampant in these places. So that means that you can operate without a God complex and still have a high level of morality. But then when you turn around and then you look at the quote unquote Negro in America, we see them being the having the highest God complex of anybody in this country, but the level of morality is the lowest. You see all manner of fuckery and debauchery within the people that's supposed to be the most God-fearing people in the country. Something's not right. What's going on? So why would I recommend to someone to walk down that path? And that path is and I'm not knocking nobody or not. That path is Sexy Red is the #1 female rapper right now. Talking about she like to get hit raw and talking about, what her booty hole and her pussy hole look like. Come on now. This is where we at right now. The most God-fearing people in the country. Come on, y'all. This is common sense now. Like, at some point, you got to take a step back and say, am I just doing this because it's a custom, it's part of my culture, or am I doing this because I'm really with this? And most of y'all not doing it because it's because you really believe it. You're doing it because you just don't know nothing different. You just walking the walk and talking the talk. You're not even believing the shit you say. But it happens that way sometimes.
I mean, so right here, ISUBK St. Louis says every child of God needs it. Every Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian needs God's morals, which are His laws, statutes, and commandments.
Wrong answer.
Morals come from law. A law is something you have to do. That's a human concept, a law. What happened to principles, man? I would argue that I'm not on the side of the Egyptomaniacs, but the Ma'at those are principles, man. Things that you should frame to how you should act and behave rather than what you should or shouldn't do. Don't do this. If you do that, I'm gonna get you. If you don't, come on, man. Laws.
So
I'm not under law.
Mr.
You have to
St.
follow
Louis,
laws.
Mr. St. Louis, would you be out here wilding out if you wasn't a Hebrew Israelite? Would you be out here raping babies if you didn't have the law, statute, and commandments? Would you be out here murdering people if you didn't? Mr. St. Louis, I'm just curious to know, and that's a real question. Would you just all the way wild out if you wasn't under what you under right now?
Right, exactly. But the Bible doesn't do that. It doesn't provide us. So then the God of the Bible overall doesn't, and I've said this, it doesn't have the character for me to follow. You have poor character. If you're a deity that's above all the other deities, I'm so jealous. Don't worship any other deities but me. You already seem insecure from the door, but it's like, do this or else. If you don't do this, I'm going to punish you for it. Damn. I think this frames a lot of our the way we are even with our children sometimes. Corporal punishment. No. I'm gonna get you.
Mm.
That's actually kind of sick to me. It is sick to me. I'm not available for a test. I've said this many times in the back chat. A test, motherfucker, really? A test? So I'm living my life. I'm gonna age, decay, and die because you're testing me. I didn't choose to be tested. Come on, man. Stop that. Stop that. That's ridiculous, man. A test? You gonna test me? I'm not available for testing that way. Hell no. Come on, man.
Right.
Stop it.
So I got
Stop it, man. A test.
so
And
so
you're
so
the God? I
so
should
so
look
hold
up
on,
to it.
hold on, DJ Seanski. I gotta introduce the honey licking fool. I mean, the one and only DMG, the guy, this man right here, the owner of Paradigm Shift and my partner in crime. How you doing, Chief? How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm just soaking up the electrifying energy right now. So what's going on, fellas? I appreciate y'all coming on.
Hey, all is well. All is well. Good. Hey, DMG, man. I just wanted to personally tell you that was a great bill you did last night regarding the brother Sinetta. And you know, at too many times in our community, we wait till a motherfucker dead before we give them their flowers. You know what I mean? And I just appreciate the way you had that brother's back. That's some of my brother's keeper shit right there, man. Like for real, for real. When it's all said and done, that man earned his spot in the culture. You know what I mean? So all of the haters and detractors, you know, they go fall by the wayside, but that man legacy go stand long, long after he's gone. But thank you, brother, for that last night.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. You know, I got a lot of hate for that, so I definitely appreciate you recognizing what I was trying to do. So, but yeah, did the Slim Reaper ever pop up, Craig?
No, he didn't pop up, man. And speaking of the Slim Reaper himself, right?
I know he in his defense, I know he had a long work shift, but I knew he was gonna try to get back up to make it to, you know, to engage, but he maybe he wasn't able to make it back up. So
And look, I'm good with the Slim Reaper. Listen, I told y'all like 90% of what he was talking about. The brother's young, he's articulate, he's good looking. You know what I mean? He has the charisma that would appeal to people. But when he was a Christian apologist, at the end of the day, I'm like, oh man, he's a young boy, and I'm not trying to pull rank. Like I know more than him or none of that. But this community is a community of non-scholars, non-educated people that way, and that's what it is, and that's what we do. I mean, shit. Don't hold us to the academic standards and stuff. I get it though. We should hold ourselves to certain standards, but that's not what we do. We just out here talking about stuff we talk about. And if you're gonna logically prove God, I have a lot of questions.
hey, yeah, and that's his.
I haven't even gotten to the philosophy. And guys, so my cousin from Africa, he lives in Africa now. He's putting my website back together. I don't have it back up yet, but there's 680 articles on various subjects. And philosophical material is part of it. To where it's like, yes, we understand Aristotle's the father of philosophy, and there's philosophers over the years that have gave us something, but they didn't get it all right. Damn. You're gonna use logic now to prove God. Whoa, wow.
Damn evidence. Damn evidence.
That's his specialty though, and he do a fair job at it. At least in my experience with him. And you know, we like to argue, but even when we argue, I tell them all the time, look, I stick to the rivers and the lakes that I'm used to. So sometimes
I'm glad to say, even though I'm a light-skinned ass nigga or whatever, I'm in the black community. I'm an elder now. I'll be 55 years old. Shit. I mean, come on, that's gotta count for something. God damn.
Yeah, hey, you don't look like you don't look like you 50 nothing. So shout out to you for that. I mean,
like we gotta count for something in our development. what we think and how we think about things, man. Damn, I got kids and grandkids, so it's like I got to look at it that way. Like,
Right, right.
So
I tell Craig all the time. I got a daughter his age.
He's sharp. See, and he's sharp. Slim Reaper's sharp. But we're not going to. You're not going to fool people with your Jedi mind tricks about logic, though you might have a degree in it. We ain't. Whoa! I'm gonna challenge you, bro. Really? I'm gonna challenge you hard. Like,
hey, Craig, you gotta set that up, Craig. You gotta set that up.
I got
he should come into the dojo and say, Seanski, then I would like you to be my master.
I gotta ask the two of you this, right? It's not just the Slim Reaper, right? You know what I'm saying? You have Byron, you know what I'm saying? And not only that, you know what I'm saying, the Slim Reaper put him in high regards, you know what I'm saying? He's worse than him. Not only that, how do you feel about, because I talked to you before about the super team. How do you feel about the team?
Can I answer that first, please?
Yeah, go
ahead, buddy.
You can have a team, and the team can be super. But if you're coming from a Christian perspective in 2023, you will get beat up every single time. There is you're fundamentally fighting from a bad position. You should be, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way. Like, who you pray to should not be at the forefront of what we do as a people. Who cares who you pray to? None of that matters. Your imaginary friend is your imaginary friend. Don't try to get me to like your imaginary friend. Let's move forward as a people. Now, I'm gonna give you some time to go talk to your imaginary friend. I might even hang out with you sometime at your house or your imaginary friend if you want me to go. But don't think I'm sitting up here go believe in your delusions because you're believing in your delusions. And I don't think we should be teaching our children to believe in said delusions. And thankfully, we have an educational system that's not raising our children in those delusions. And I land the plane.
Hey, I think this man just laid down a gauntlet, man. So which one of y'all Thanos and which one of y'all dark side when it comes to these super teams? Because I think they're gonna step up to the challenge. So who's who? Is it dark side versus the Justice League or Thanos versus the Avengers?
I'm
playing for the record. I'm a nerd, so that's how I talk.
I think we're the Justice League, to be honest with you.
Okay.
We're trying to get the heart and the minds right of our people, because apparently what they've been doing ain't been working. You got cats out here that's whole murderers running around with "only God can judge" be tattooed on their body. How does that work? how does that work, man? Like, how you got a Jesus piece on, but you selling fentanyl in your neighborhood? How does that work? How does that work, brother? Something's not right. That means they're not doing it seriously. They're only doing it culturally. That means they don't give a damn about it in reality.
I agree with that, but now is that an indictment on the individual or on the doctrine?
In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, it's an indictment on the individuals and the doctrine and the way it was presented to us. It's foreign to us. That's not natural for us. It's like English. We don't speak English as well as motherfuckers over there on the other side of the water. Our English is different. It's bastardized. We got a bastardized vernacular. We got a bastardized religion. You gotta think about it. None of this shit is natural to us. It's just not. We trying to make something that's not natural, trying to make it natural and make it seem like it's real and within our lifespan or within our culture. And it's not real, bro. And I'm not saying we got to go back to being animist like the ancestors and walk around and participate in voodoo and all that shit. But I would have a little more respect for that, because at least at the end of the day, it's African in nature. At least at the end of the day, if you're doing some mumbo jumbo and some foolishness, if you're doing some African foolishness, and all due respect to the ancestors, if you're doing some African foolishness, at least we know that that's culturally correct. You're not biting. You're not being a culture vulture. We out here being whole ass culture vultures and wonder why ain't nothing happening.
And Mudawak, to piggyback on that, I have a cousin that lives in Saudi Arabia and in Ghana. I speak on these things, man. And my cousin in Ghana, you know, he's saying like, look, man, Juju was replaced by Christianity. They won't even think about if you say Black Jesus, they go, what? What you mean Black Jesus? You know what I'm saying? No, they're fucked up. Like Juju, he'll be like, nigga, if they get mad at you, like you're gonna die on September 1st this year at 1:00 in the afternoon, and go with that superstition, but it's replaced by the ideology of yes,
surgical with this bitch, Jay. How you want it?
Right here. We need what you got right here, and you guys are going to just do it this way, and we're going to just leave you hanging like that. The European, and we're going to give you Christianity. They don't even, Ghana shit ain't even open on Sundays, man. My cousin's like, yeah, Sundays, you know, we in Philly and in different places we live, we can go to the store and do whatever. Like, no, not in Ghana, nigga. They white Jesus. My cousin from Saudi, he has a doctorate, so he gives me the real deal too to verify. Like, yep. He comes over to Ghana. He's like, white Jesus on the back of buses. He's everywhere, nigga. Stop.
I want to ask. Let me ask both of y'all a question. When y'all see these videos and y'all see these actors that's dressed up like the quote unquote white Jesus, and they go into these African villages, and you see all these black people crowd around them as if these guys are an actual deity or the actual Jesus, like it's a person that came out of the movie King of Kings and walked into their village. When you see stuff like that, what's your reaction to it? And if you could play doctor right now, what would be your diagnosis of what's happening in that very moment?
I'll take it. It's mental health issues, brother. We have as a people, whether we're here in America and whether we're in South America, whether we're in on the other side of the pond, as they say, we have a dysfunctional relationship with two things. Black folks have a dysfunctional relationship with religion and have a dysfunctional relationship with money. And those are the two things that I'd like to address. Now, our dysfunctional relationship with religion is we think that depiction of, I'm talking about the people over the water, they think that depiction of Jesus is right and correct because they were taught that. By who? The colonizer. They didn't pick that up on their own. They didn't just say, oh yeah, we looking for an Ashton Kutcher looking motherfucker to believe in. That shit was given to them. You know what I mean? They didn't say, oh, bring us somebody over here that looks like a motherfucking surfer white boy, and we go sit up here and pretend like this is Jesus. They didn't say that. That was something that was beat, not, and I don't mean physically, that was something that was beat into them over years and years and years. And let's be perfectly honest, those of us here on this side of the pond, we just now stopped worshiping white Jesus. A lot of y'all great grandmamas and grandmamas still got that picture of that Burt Reynolds looking motherfucker in her living room, in her kitchen. She still got that Last Supper in the kitchen. Stop playing. Like don't act like it's like that's just, oh, we never did that. So this is a real phenomenon, y'all. And I digress and let Brother Sean get a hold of it.
We're victims, but I'm not going to be victimized forever. Fuck that. Yes, since my family's in Africa, you can give me a different perspective on all this. So if colonizers come to Africa, Ghana specifically, because that's where he lives, and Nigerians is doing it too, Uncle Tom niggas, they the real Uncle Tom niggas, man. They fought for the British military, man. Come on. Even till recently. And they serve their masters, but you tell somebody that your Juju religion is inferior to Christianity, though it has some of the same elements, you've just replaced their system with another system and make them feel that what they believed in prior to them getting there is wrong, and they hold that in their heads. And it's like, damn, even the education system in Ghana, there's a free education. There's no public school system. There's no social programs. There's no food stamps. None of that shit over there, man. And white Jesus is white Jesus. Yep, he's the ruler. He's the man. No matter what you thought in the past, none of that shit matters. That's fucked up, man. They're like in a stupor over there, and their money system is fucked up too. Their money is jacked up. The Ghana CD, I don't want no CD at all. You know what I'm saying? My cousin says when he comes from Saudi to Ghana, and my cousin gives him CD, he got to look for banks to convert that money to either Arab money or dollars, and it's hard, man. Like it's some bullshit. The conquest was we need people to help us with our new shit we're doing over here, and we need some of these resources. And your God's less than our God's greater than your God, and we're gonna take advantage of the situation.
Yeah,
Whether we
get you to,
we're gonna do, we're gonna do this. You ain't really doing shit. You ain't really doing shit, and we fell for the okie doke, man. It's like, damn. The way I see it, damn, it's like psychologically damaging to where they don't even care about what the shit we talking about in Ghana, what we talking about right now. They don't give a shit. My cousin, man, in Ghana has to like he has a Bumblebee Camaro. And I'm gonna tell the story so it's because it's real shit. He fucked up his front end, hitting potholes because they got dirt roads. He had to get his parts from Germany. It took months to get in, and when they painted his fender, it wasn't yellow no more. It's kind of orange because that's the paint y'all getting in Africa. It's kind of dang. I'm glad I'm in America. Then, God damn it, like damn, damn, man. You so you're I see the fender, and I'm like, you got a kind of orange fender, and I know your front end's not aligned because you put the parts on. You got to get from Germany. You can go to AutoZone. No, ain't no AutoZone, dog. Ain't. You take your food stamps down and get you some chicken and fucking ribs and whatever you do in the crib. Ain't no food stamps. Ain't no homeless shelter.
I mean, it's like
it's this domination from the European to where it's like these niggas is like, okay, this is what it is. It's what it is. Like we're actually more advanced than them. Yes, we are. Absolutely.
Yeah, I've heard it said by people who deal with a lot of people on the continent that we have a lot in America. Us in America have more knowledge of African history.
Absolutely.
Than a lot of people who actually live and grew up in Africa.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And West is different.
That's kind of crazy to me.
Yeah. Because
East Africa. Let me tell you. Can I say this right quick, brother? And this is what one of my teachers told me years ago. And you know, just to date myself, you know, I was my mother was associated with some of the members of the US movement, and my father was associated with some of the members of the Panther movement. And so I kind of like grew up, like Manalan Karinga is someone I know. Geronimo Pratt was someone I met before. Like I literally grew up around, like I was not cognizant of who these people were as a young man. I grew up around these people. I grew up in the last part of the Black Power era, where it was like, it was getting corny to be Black Power, you know, but it was still out there where I was learning Swahili at 7, 8, 9 years old, and we were going to different rallies and things of that nature, and you know, even though some of the teachers were pseudo, we was the same way we go into lectures today and listening to people. We were going to see Van Sertima. We were going to see some of the other scholars. We were going to see Dr. Amos Wilson. We were reading Bennett Jr., but that's a whole nother conversation. I said that to say what I was told is the fact that us as African Americans, we come from all over West and Central Africa. By default, that makes us the vanguards of African culture. I'm gonna say that again. By us coming from all over parts of Africa, West and Central in particular, but all over in general, that makes us the vanguards of African culture. That's why we know for the most part, as a group, more about Africa than even some landmass Africans do. And it's just one of them strange phenomena that came out of our captivity. And I digress.
I mean, look, man, Amu, I tell about my peoples all the time. East Africa is different than West Africa.
Right.
Because my cousin Derek, that lives in Saudi Arabia, Dr. Derek Burnett, I like to add, he'll get a kick out of that. He's in East Africa, so it's different there than it is in West Africa. But still, nonetheless, it's not what it should be because of European influence. Yes,
Right.
correct. But we're the guys they look up to, man. We're
Absolutely.
the shit. We're like, oh wow. They look at our culture like we don't see it that way. We're the front runners, man. Even the shit I hate, Bama ass, ridiculous hip hop and things I talk about. We have fun in the back chats and stuff. They love it all. They're like, nah, these dudes over here. And we're like, Africa, and they're like, nah, African American, black. They call us Black Americans. They don't call us African American. We're Black
Right.
Americans. Man. Damn. They're like, damn. We're really the shit. And they're like looking at us. And we looking at that Africa like, what? Huh? No. Come on, man. We don't see it that way. Like, wow. And the best and brightest of Africans make it to America. My son's doctors and stuff are comprised of mainly African doctors. I talked about, y'all know what I'm saying. My son's doctors, they're not even from here.
Right.
They're not U.S. people. But it's like, yeah, but you're Nigerian. I see. I know it. I get it. I get it. Yeah, I get it. We different, right? But we really the same. You see my son different, but really, you get it though. You get it. Yeah, you get it. You
But
would
that's
be
kind of
okay.
like that's kind of like one of them things where that's kind of the one of them things where we kind of dropped the ball. We know we had all eyes on us, and instead of staying on the gas about Pan Africanism, we got a little loose on the issue because we were in the 80s and up until probably like the late 80s, there was still a Pan African uh, uh, aura in our communities. Now you say Pan Africanism, they looking at you like you crazy. Pan Africanism, you say they use the word Afrocentric as if it's a derogatory nowadays.
It's a negative.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how did that happen? How did we get to a point where if you say I'm Pan African or I have an Afrocentric paradigm, if you say that, all of a sudden people look at you like you're saying something negative. Like, there's a crazy phenomenon going on across academia, and some of these college educated young folks, they'll be able to tell you about it. Like black folks ain't even taking African studies courses anymore, particularly our women. They're not taking African studies courses. They're taking women's study courses. It's like they don't even want to learn about what it is to be part of the culture. They rather learn about the womanhood that had very little to do with them during their captivity and their bondage. But that's a whole different conversation within and of itself. And Dr. Tommy Curry speaks to that as well. If you ever get a chance, pick up his great work called The Man Not. And it speaks about manhood and boyhood in contemporary America. Dr. Curry, Dr. Tommy Curry is his name. But it's we can have these conversations, and that's why I say with these so-called folks that's calling themselves the super team. Like, to me, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, it kind of reminds me of the Negro preacher that was on the plantation. That was your job, is to teach this rhetoric to us. You wasn't really teaching us freedom and emancipation. You were teaching this rhetoric. We should be beyond that. Like, okay, yeah, who you pray to, that's cool. I got you. I don't care if it's Allah. I don't care if it's Jesus. I don't care if it's Yahweh. I don't care if it's Buddha. I don't care if it's whatever, whoever. That's cool. I got that. But how do we move forward? Like, a lot of people don't understand. Like, to give you just a brief example, everybody's familiar with the UNIA, the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Garvey's right-hand man was a whole atheist. a brother by the name of Carlos Cook. Carlos Cook, if anybody wants to look him up. This is the brother that coined the phrase "buy black." This is the brother that had the first. It wasn't called a Miss Black America pageant. I think it was called a Miss Black Harlem pageant or something to that effect. Like, this is the brother that Malcolm X said that he got a lot of his street corner style from. And this brother's a whole atheist, but we don't speak on him. We don't speak on brothers like Hubert Harrison, that was instrumental during the civil rights movement, which was also a whole atheist out there. See, but these individuals, they didn't work as in. We have a. Let me take a step back. We live in a generation right now where everybody is caught up in identity politics. You got the alphabet community. They want to lead with their identity. I'm alphabet this, I'm alphabet that. Then you got the religious folks. I'm this type of religious person. I'm that type of religious person. You got the Egyptomaniacs. I'm this, I'm that. You got the whole, and the other people, the Moors, and you got the Aboriginals. All of that's just identity politics. But if you look back at us historically, we were not moving under the auspices of identity politics. We were moving under the auspices of, this is who the fuck we are, and we need freedom and emancipation. And until we get back to some of that, nothing else is gonna matter. And I digress.
I'm gonna say this, and this is one of my favorite quotes from France Fanon. And he says that there's an existential deviation, where as a result of the removal of language and culture of origin, the black individual and the black collective have had to simultaneously define and redefine culture and existence. And I think that's where these identity issues come from. That's why every time I open my show, I say God bless to my Christian brothers and sisters, Hotep to my Kemetic brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum to my brothers and sisters in the NOI, Islam to my Moorish brothers and sisters, Shalom to my Israelite brothers and sisters, peace to my brothers and sisters in the nation of gods and earth and 5%ers. What's up to my atheist brothers and sisters? What's up to my Abo brothers and sisters? Shout out to my Rasta brothers and sisters. And finally, Jumbo to the rest of my brothers and sisters throughout the African diaspora, be it here in the wilderness of the United States or beyond. And I go into my spiel about how we can have unity without uniformity. We can disagree without being disrespectfully disagreeable, etc. Because I think the whole you gotta agree with me and be on my side of the argument thing get that start bogging down the larger conversation of we black. And we all got a common interest in this situation that we find ourselves in. I was talking to one of my brothers about the reparation thing, and he was saying he's not fighting for it. And he was like, my mother and father wouldn't slave, so etc. And I said that to me, that's something that only black people say, because I've never heard a Japanese person back when they got reparations for being put in internment camps during World War II. I never remember a Japanese person saying, well, my mother and father didn't get put in these internment camps, so I'm not worried about it. You see what I'm saying? I never heard a Jewish person say, well, my mother and father weren't the ones that had to suffer through the Holocaust, so I ain't worried about it.
We wasn't the ones in them ovens, so that ain't got nothing to do.
So they ain't got nothing to do with us. I don't. How, in y'all opinion, how did we get to this point where we want to be anything but African, and then on top of that, what's this individualistic attitude that seems to be unique to us, whereas everybody else, whether it's Native Americans, where they stand firm in regards to them getting sovereign land, tax breaks on casinos, and all the other benefits that they got. Japanese people, when it came to getting what they got for their mistreatment during World War II. But for us, you have black people saying, we don't need reparations. We shouldn't get it. What is that?
Give me some reparations. I'll take a check right now.
Really?
I'll take a check now, please.
Right,
Thank you.
right. I think that to answer your question, bro, I think and I'm using these words extremely colloquially. I think the gift and the curse of black people is our ability to innovate culturally. I think that we innovate so fast and move so fast with different things and different schools of thought that sometimes we abandon shit and just leave it sitting there, or we begin to speak disparagingly about something that we invented. To give you an example, let's take, for example, FUBU, the clothing line. FUBU. Let's take 1 second, y'all. Hold on. There. Let's take, for example, like FUBU and Fat Form. Like those brands were uniquely created by African Americans for African Americans. But it didn't take long before what did we start saying? I'm not rocking that shit. That's ghetto. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
we start demonizing our own. We start
exactly.
saying, "Oh, I don't like that. That shit ghetto. Why is you doing that? That's ghetto." And I think it's kind of like the same way with some of the stuff that happens within our culture. We'll have a paradigm like we were strong as fuck. You gotta remember how we were really strong as fuck in the 60s and 70s to where whole other nations was willing to deal with us. You know what I mean? Like whole other like Cats was literally going to Africa having sit downs with presidents of other countries. Like we were there. We were at the threshold of actual emancipation and liberation of us as a people, and we just like fumbled at the 1 yard line because it became not cool anymore. It became not the fly thing to do. And then you add little shit like, not little shit, but you add like shit like the drug trade that infiltrated our communities and mass incarceration, things of that nature. But we just dropped the ball, we don't seem to move forward with stuff that's ours, and we like abandon it, and then we turn around and be like, oh, well, why you still doing that? That shit old. Why you still feel like that? That's old. That's why we had this identity crisis. We always want to look for the next new thing to be. I want to be the exotic Negro. I don't want to be a regular Negro. I want to be the exotic Negro. I'm from a volcano. That's why I got this skin color. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a weird dynamic, man. But again, I digress.
Yeah, and shout out to my man Elijah. He say, got my DNA test back, and it says I'm indigenous to America. I need a second opinion. Nah, hey, if you went to America, shout out to you, because I got my DNA test and it says that I'm African, of African descent. So either way it go, we here in America trying to make a way for ourselves here. So if you're indigenous to America, shout out to you and your people on the reservations. But me and my people, we descend from Africa, and we didn't come over here by choice. So your people had their land taken and swindled from them, and they enslaved my people right along with the Europeans. So if that's your people, shout out to you. But I know who my people is as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And on that note, I got a friend of mine. Shout out to Mafael if you're listening. He's a Gullah Geechee brother, young brother that's discovering his Gullah Geechee roots, and he has a strong position. The brother says that when you got these individuals out here running around talking about they Native Americans, this, that, and the other, he says, this is what he says, tell me what tribe you from then, because I need to know, because a lot of them tribes was responsible for the enslavement of my people. So if you saying you one of them people, I need to know who you are. Which tribe do you identify with? Because you was responsible for the enslavement of my people, just like the colonizer. So it's a great position he has, and it makes people rethink the whole I'm an American, I've always been here argument.
Yeah. Because see, them 5 civilized tribes, the reason they were civilized is because they wanted to be and look like the European culturally. Mm-hmm. And when they start trading with the European, guess who got traded? My ancestors. That Trail of Tears, it wasn't no Native Indians crying during the Trail of Tears. Them was my people, because they was the ones doing the work. So again, for all of y'all who say that's who y'all is, like my man said, what tribe was you in? Because if you was in the tribe that enslaved my people, you owe my people too.
Absolutely, point blank. Since you want to look at your high cheekbones and say you one of them people, since you want to say, I got good hair, I'm one of them people. Okay, which one of them people is you?
Yeah.
Let's keep it clean, but that's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole nother situation. But hey, I want to say thanks again to y'all brothers for coming on. I ain't mean to stop the momentum. I just wanted to check in right quick. I'm gonna let y'all keep on rocking.
Yeah.
And make sure y'all come back and check us out. We're gonna try to line that up with the super team. So yeah, y'all keep doing what y'all do, and we look forward to y'all coming back.
Pleasure speaking with you, good brother. Enjoy the remainder of your day.
No doubt.
Yes, sir.
All right. Peace to y'all, brothers.
All right. Classic. You still there?
Yeah. We're Evil Craig. Evil Craig.
With Evil Craig right there. The evil twin.
Like, that's a great build. And I'm looking at the chat.
Let me look at the chat. I haven't even took a peek in.
Oh, Elijah said, when is DJ Sean going to explain why he believed he was an Israelite and changed his mind? Shit, I never believed I was an Israelite from the gate. This is what y'all saying. Okay, it's based on conjecture. It's not based on physical evidence at all. Prophecy said this and the prophecy said that. In Europe, we're Israelites. Oh my. Wow. I mean, you believe you're an Israelite, Elijah?
Is he? Elijah.
He said DNA test and he said went back. He's the one that said he went back to indigenous America. Okay. You're not Israelite. That's Middle Eastern in descent, essentially. Leave the Bible alone. Take yourself out the middle of it. Be as impartial as you can and unbiased as you can. Don't be afraid. Take yourself out the middle of it. Why does the Bible have to explain all of our origins, man? Come on, man.
Yeah, what happened? I mean, where are we supposed to be here? I thought it was gonna be some super team members came through here and had a little dialogue.
Ratchet Craig, come in.
Greetings, brother.
What's going on? Good, Craig?
Yeah, hey man, I don't know what happened to Captain Craig. I think y'all done read him off.
We just short circuited his motherboard with this good information and popped his whole head off. That nigga shit said boom, 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 mind blown.
Mine just gone now. But no, brother, this been a good show, man. Y'all been on fire, man. And I'm just trying to hold it down till he get back, because he supposed to get back. I don't know what happened. But yeah. He
sent out the bat signal to try to find a super team, I guess.
Yeah, he said that the bad signal. Yeah. He probably be trying to politic and get them to come out. Slow down.
Where's that nigga? The smart guy, Leandre.
Yeah, where's Mr. Smarty Pants?
Mr. Smarty Pants. Don't start that booty wise.
It was your elders, man.
Who's Byron? Y'all might be getting off a little more than y'all. Hey, y'all very cocky up here. I don't like this.
Deal with your elders, man.
Super team. I do not like this super team. I do not like this. I do not co-sign this.
This is the Justice League. This is the Justice League, bro. We come to correct bad behavior.
Bad behavior. Oh man. Oh man. Y'all just cutting up here. Craig said, man, he said, booty why the shirt is a handful. I had to give my Brian a look. He did say that though. I had to give my Brian a look. Cool it down. He said, they're a handful. They wow. They just up there, man, getting it in. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's why he did say that when you said the motherboard circuit. Red shout out was funny because he told me that shit.
Yeah. It's just one of them things. It's one of them things, bro. You know, I'm just interested in having the dialogue. I like to hear the perspectives and what led to the perspective. If they saying they're a super team and they go out Martin Luther King. Well, I'd love to hear how they gonna do that. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
but we had these verses coming up, right?
Mm,
And I see, these verses coming up. Booty Wild, it's gonna be it's like a discussion. It's just that it's gonna be a controlled dialogue, right?
right.
Uh, yeah, each person get to say their side. You ain't got to have no slides or nothing, right? If you want to pull up sources, you can pull up sources, right? Uh, but other than that, it's gonna be a versus. So we try to get there. We call it the battle of the ideologies, right?
Mm,
Uh, start there. There's gonna be different little back and forth discussions. It ain't gonna be nothing. No, you like to do that, Booty Wild, so that ain't nothing. The dialogue, it ain't no debate. You know what I'm saying?
right. Yeah, I
So,
don't mind having a discussion with my peoples, man. Shit.
yeah, I think that'll fit. Cause them debates, man, they like I said, you got the way you prepare for them, and people don't appreciate them at the end, man. Actually, that shit actually take a lot of time, man. Put those
It
slides,
does. It does.
your sources on there. And you've been took 2-3 days at your time, like for hours, just to make sure you put together like 30 slides. You know what I mean?
Right. And for somebody to be like, oh, they voted against you because the other person is their friend.
Yeah, they free. Yeah.
Wait.
So,
So, fam, so since we in a call, maybe I didn't say it earlier like that. So then my master and my master teachers are white men. My master teachers are white men. Yes.
all right.
Black people. Yeah. Controversy. My master, I said earlier, my
Oh,
master.
and we got it. All the blackologists out here. We got us one. We got us one.
They're white men. I say this to my master teacher. Shit. When it comes
Yeah,
down to it,
that's fine, man. If I had a white teacher, man, who taught me stuff, man, it is what it is. I ain't gonna disclaimer. You know what I'm
Right.
white man is my master teacher. My
saying?
master, as I said, is a white man. Who's your master, Seanski? He's a white dude from Germany. I call him
Yeah.
master. You know what I
Hey,
mean? Like,
no bullshit, bro. My literature teacher in high school was a white woman. She's the one that introduced me to Franz Fanon, like the Wretched of the Earth. It was her in her class. You know what I mean? Like the last place you would expect to be introduced to Franz Fanon, Wretched of the Earth, is this little bitty white woman in my freshman year of high school, and
there you go.
it blew my mind. So
But you told you some good literature work based off your people, your own people, right?
right, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Not, usually that, believe it or not, that story is kind of like regular though. That's why
Right.
I never say people like a good English teacher or literature teacher, right? They be always a white woman or black women too, but they be the old school black, right? They
Mm-hmm.
don't they don't take shit for nobody. Real strict about literature and English and shit. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
get you to whatever your race is. If you Mexican people to introduce you to some good Mexican literature, I bet
Right.
you.
Yeah, she was a cold piece of work though. She had us reading all kind of stuff. Like she just had us reading like across all reading. I'm reading Little Women in high school, the Diary
Yeah,
of Anne Frank.
I remember this.
You know what I mean? So she was one of them type of cold pieces of work. She was across the whole spectrum. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She was just trying to get the young kids to open their mind up to, good literature.
Yeah, it is American literature too, right? It's
Right,
American
exactly.
literature. So it's a part of our country literature within our, this thing that we put together, right? Us as African Americans, right? Or foundational Black Americans, right? That our ancestors put together, and we got to own it. This is ours, bro. I'm cool with the Africa over there, the overseas. I see how Sean beat that up today, but
Yeah, beat it up.
I'm cool. I'm cool with that, but I'm right here. I'm an American. I'm an American, bro. I'm an African American to be exact. So
Right.
I like Kanye said, I'm paying African American. I like that. I'm paying
Pan
African
African.
American.
I don't care what state you from, huh?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Shit.
My niece.
There you go, there you go, there you go. Boy, I had to fill in. I had to come in and fill in. So you supposed to get back on there.
Hey,
I
hey,
told Booty Wah that you said they was a handful and your brain had to rest, nigga. I told him. You called. They told me
yeah, man. I gotta tell you, man, my niece are over here, right? Ever since my sister moved out, they like coming over, and you know how that is. They touch stuff they shouldn't touch. You know what I'm saying? And plus, they high schoolers, so they feel like they can just do whatever. You know, that stuff be getting annoying. But I got to say this, man. Now, getting back to the nitty gritty, Mudawa, I got a question for you. You know what I'm saying? I got to get down to it with you.
What's
So,
the deal, Bill?
so check this out, right? I noticed that you said that you cannot talk with a lot of these young men out here. You cannot talk to a lot of these young people in general because they don't listen, right? Can you tell me from your experience and from what you see, right, the truth of it all, and why do these young individuals have such a disrespect for the elders today who've been in their shoes right now?
That's a big question, bro. The disconnect. The disconnect is unfortunately the disconnect it happened because a lot of youngsters didn't grow up with a dad around. Just be honest with you.
Right.
So they never really saw what man love looked like. Like I can talk to you stern, I can talk to you like a man. That doesn't mean I dislike you as a human being. You
Right.
dig what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of the youngsters, they can't get that aspect of it. They're accustomed to a woman's love. You know, a woman's love is usually a little more coddling, or it's more just screaming and rah, 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 but whoop your ass if you don't. That's the love that they're accustomed to. They're
Right.
not accustomed to listening to a brother tell them something from a brother that's been there's perspective. They get tight. You can see it. Their jaws get tight. They start plexing up. They damn near had a fist balled up. It's like, they're just not accustomed to seeing it. Luckily for cats like me, Sean, those of us that was born in the 60s, early 70s, we were fortunate enough to see men in the household, men in the community that, when an older brother says something, even if you adamantly disagreed with what OG was saying, you gave him the respect to listen to it.
Right. Right.
You dig what I'm saying? But now we at the point where, oh, fuck you, old head. I don't want to hear that shit. I know what I'm doing. I got this. And woo, 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 woo. And the favorite line is, well, if you know all that, look at your life and yada, yada, yada. And you know how that's. But at the same time, that's just youthful exuberation.
Right.
Kids gonna do that. That's just what kids go do. And then they turn around and they get 35, 40 and be like, fuck, nigga was kicking game. I sure wish I'd have listened. It
Hey,
just happens like that, bro. What's up, bro?
Move on. You said something early in this with the crack era, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think our disconnection is all the way in that era right there.
It is.
That
It is.
that, that little era right there was that disconnect. I think we got to have
Absolutely.
a show talking about the truth of the crack era, how it just
Absolutely.
dismantled, bruh, the family, bruh. Like
Yeah.
I think we would had it together. It even made this feminist stuff. We always blame it on Martin Luther King, the civil rights, but that was made it hyper.
Yeah.
It turned it, it whooped it out all of the feminism because you had these women who didn't want they got a documentary with girls, young girls like 14, 15, getting pregnant. They just want to have baby by light skinned guys or whatever, with pretty hair, and they don't even want to dance. They say, I don't care, I
Right.
just want somebody to love me. I just want somebody to love me because they were going through the crack era and shit.
Right.
So they just,
Right.
yeah, you have that, and that led to some feminism that got warped out too, right? All
Mm-hmm.
these, because I really believe feminism wasn't that bad when I looked at it, you know, before the crack era hit.
Bro, it was damn near, and I'm not, and ladies, if you listening, please don't come for me. Feminism was damn near a white woman and a lesbian woman thing back in the day, bro. It wasn't, sisters wasn't on no feminism shit like that back in the day. It was a handful of them, but they wasn't on that shit. You know, they was
No,
on
no,
some,
no, no, no. They joined because they started joining because they had the same that black women had the same dynamic, right? Too. You know what I'm saying? Women that get these good jobs and get good high paying jobs they thought they was qualified for. The inheritance, like they were even going through the credit card shit, bro. Women couldn't get their own credit card without their husband signing. You know what I'm saying? So they were going through the same thing. So it's still there, but I ain't gonna throw the lesbian because I think lesbians been here forever. It been in our community forever. You know what I'm saying? So I can't just the lesbian part, right? Because black people had lesbian all through it. You just look through this shit, you like, yeah, she was a lesbian.
yeah, but
See,
I'm saying as far as promoting a feminist agenda like full speed. You're right. The crack era facilitated that real strong.
yeah, but what the feminism is, but it is the equality for women. That's all it is, right?
That's what it's supposed to be.
And I said it started off like that. I said with the crack era, that when you get all this spin out of control shit going on to what we call feminism today. What we look at it in our eyes today. I don't think it started off like that. I think the crack era destroyed everything from the Panthers,
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
absolutely.
yeah, all
But
these street guys,
it destroyed the brotherhood first.
yeah.
If you what's the brotherhood? You got to remember, bro. Come on, man. You 14, 15, 16-year-old dude, and you out there selling drugs to a man old enough to be your father or grandfather, and he's acquiescing to whatever you say. So there's an imbalance of power right there.
Yeah.
How is this 13, 14-year-old boy got full control of this grown man behavior? So he's gonna start thinking, fuck this old man. I can do what the fuck I wanna do, say what I wanna say. I don't have to respect none of these motherfuckers.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's an imbalance of power. That's what that era created. And then combine that with the fact that you ain't got no stand-up dudes in the household. And combine that with the fact that the ladies is on some other shit sometime. So
But,
that's what destroyed the
but,
brotherhood, bro.
out of that, no, I'm gonna go somewhere with this booty, but out of that
Mm.
came black theology, right? Black theology was made in 1990s, bro. Out that crack era, the recovery and the ass end of it, the whole so broken that was black theology came into surface, right? And it mostly amongst the Christian community and the Islamic community too, right? So those are the two communities in our community that benefit out this black theology.
Uh, uh,
I
uh, I
telling
saw a
you,
little bit different. I saw a little bit different.
I'm telling you, it got an origin on it, a creation on it. It got an Encyclopedia Britannica on it, and they say 1990 when it's because they had the conferences and stuff like that, and how they
Right.
did it in the neighborhood. Oh, it's there, bro. And that's just saying that's how you get these people now, and these who think now this Christian view we have now is recent. It's a 1990s thing. It ain't the Martin Luther King Christians.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, yeah, it ain't the
I
Martin
got you
Luther
there.
King Christians. They put Jesus in front of everything, bro. Jesus in front of everything. So yeah, yeah. I'm gonna let you check that out. We gonna chop that one up.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What? Where evil Craig at?
I'm not evil, man. It's classic. I'm classic.
I told you, you gotta earn classic, my nigga. I
Man, he
don't
been
give a
doing
damn.
good though. He been doing good for about a year though. He been doing good for a year.
Even, even,
We ain't doing Egypt, bro. We ain't doing Egypt. You got to do 33 years before you get the nine
no, I need 40 years. I need 40 years in the mystery school. God damn it.
You gonna do that, man?
God damn.
Listen, I got a classic antiques, brother. So I am classic Craig, man. Undisputedly I'm classic Craig. But
oh shit.
I gotta ask you, man. And one thing about it, right, Ratchet Craig and me, and just for everybody, we are gonna go into the topics. We are gonna go into some pretty heavy hitters in conversation. Another thing I dislike is the whole. I gotta say it, Ratchet. I hate the whole. He's a pedophile person. He's a pedophile. I hate those accusations. You never met the person. You don't know who he is. You're just saying that because you know it slanders a person's character. And not only that, right? You don't care about pedophiles and their victims. You're just saying that to the person to destroy his character online or whatever little social standard you're a part of, you know what I'm saying, whatever social gathering. You're just doing that just to try to make that person look bad. And not only that, right? Just like the Honorable Ratchet Muhammad Craig said, right? He said that these Negroes running around calling people pedophiles and all that shit, right? Number one, have no proof. Number two, live in an area with pedophiles. And number three, they're not doing nothing about it. They're not walking up to a repeated offender, calling them a pedophile and putting them on notice and blast for the community. They're just doing it with people that live like 5 states away from them. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
It's insane. It's insane.
Of course. I think that people should just start filing lawsuits for defamation of character. You ain't gonna get nothing from the motherfucker, but you'll get a judgment against him. Like if a motherfucker defame your character, making some accusations across the internet, okay, I'm suing your ass for defamation of character. I want $100,000. Yeah, you ain't gonna be able to pay it, but if I can, I'm gonna get your wages garnished. I'm gonna get your taxes taken from you, because you can't just run around putting a jacket on somebody. For those of you that don't know what that means, it's like putting a label on somebody that's not true. You know what I mean? Like somebody can get hurt for that, man. Like you can't just run around calling somebody a fucking child molester or a rapist.
Or say the person got HIV.
Right? Yeah, that's out of line, bro. That's bad character, my nigga. Like that's just straight up and down back. You would not do that on the streets if a motherfucker lived around the corner. So why are you doing that on social media?
Because they're safe, you know, because they're safe. And, you know, we are going to get a little bit more into the character of individuals that do that. Right. And, you know, it's just sickening at the end of the day. But I got another question for you, Mudawa. Do you think you're ready for the super team?
Bro, as far as I know, as of right now, the super team seems like a figment of your imagination. Who the fuck is the super team?
Man.
I ain't seen nothing super yet.
Man.
Oh man! I can't wait to go back to their headquarters and report this shit.
I'm like, super team. I mean, I have yet to see.
They got an army. You only just see one. There's Leandre. He the warrior. He the warrior. They got their elders. They got their elders. They mentors and they research scholarship. They got some cold researchers, bro.
Yeah. And I gotta say this, right? You got Byron, right? That was the one that Leandre was boosting up, right? Shout out to Byron. And he down in the boot in Louisiana with a special friend of yours, Mudawa. So
speaking of bad character.
No, we ain't gonna do that with y'all.
I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing.
Craig did that shit.
I just wanted to see what he would do. But anyway, you know, but Byron is I think he's a Harvard graduate, very intelligent. You know what I'm saying? He was up here with Duran. You know what I'm saying? And yo, he's a pusher. He's a pusher for real, for real. He was the one who made that claim, right, stating that there was evidence of Christianity in West Africa, right, before Europeans.
Prior to the Europeans.
Prior to the Europeans, and you know. And I would like for him to give you some information on that. I would like to speak a little bit more. And Mudawa, I would like for you to engage in a dialogue with him. He is the epitome of Decorum just like you. So I said, you know what? This will be a good matchup for you two brothers. And then you take it on from there, you know what I'm saying, with a dialogue. You feel me?
Okay. I'd love to meet y'all esteemed scholar that graduated from the Ivy League University of Harvard and engage in a dialogue with the brothers.
Yeah, I like that.
Thank the regular Christians, Muruwa. These Christians are powerful.
Bro, there's no such thing as not a regular Christian. They can't reinvent the fucking theology. They can't reinvent the history. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Out Council of Nicaea, the Council of Nicaea? You go out Council of Jamnia, the Council of Jamnia? What you gonna do?
Ooh, what you gonna do, y'all? Ooh, what you gonna do? Super team.
How you gonna get around like at the end of the day, like, and it's no disrespect to any black Christian. How the hell you gonna get around the Nicene Creed? You being a black Christian as the way it is right now was spoon fed to you with one of them spoons with the little rubber around the tip of it by white men.
Oh, God. I don't like this shit. I don't like this.
I mean, I'm being historically accurate. Where's the lie?
Where is the lie, Craig? Is it? Where's the lie? We got to see where the lie is, Craig. We got to go back to the super team. And they got to discover this lie. This is booty wire. I don't know where is it, but I know they got the answer.
Hey.
Because guess what? Your form of Christianity is all predicated on the Nicene Creed. That's it. That's all.
Damn.
You didn't invent that shit. It was that little bitty spoon with the rubber on the tip that grabbed your jaws, coochie coochie coo, and put it in your mouth. And you burped up a little bit of it like the motherfucking applesauce, like an infant do.
Yo, man. Woo! You in trouble, booty wire. You in trouble.
Where did I lie? Where did I lie, bro? They can't get around that, bro. Watch how they don't answer that question.
Bro. Greg, where you at? Bitch, you asking crazy questions, nigga. You disagree.
I mean,
nigga, you leave me up here. I'm at ooh-wee stage. Ooh-wee. I'm stuck, Craig. I don't know where to go for this. You the master question asker, nigga. God damn. Help me out.
Man, hey, super team. I don't know that guy Muruwa. He just here, you know. Don't attack me. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, man. Them Crusaders gonna come after you, man. Because
I have no problem with it, bro. I have no problem with it. It'd be dope if there was a set of black Christians that said that they were following Arius. If they said, you know what, we following the cat that was from Africa that said this, that, and the other, and this is how we believe in this narrative right here. I would just have to shut the fuck up. But they don't. They took the whole European version of it.
Oh, man.
So I got to ask you something. Right. So maybe correct me if my words was wrong, but you said, right, that you cannot philosophize God, right? Like how a lot of people would try to philosophize him nowadays, right? Like, let's just say if you went to school for it and you are very versed in philosophy and stuff like that, and then you try to come back and you have this faith, you try to philosophize it in a way to where it makes sense by a philosopher. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me you can do that or you cannot at the end of the day?
I'm saying that a belief system does not require evidence at all. It's a butt naked belief. And because it's a butt naked belief, you cannot intellectualize a butt naked belief to people that don't believe in your belief system. In other words, if you're going to have a quote unquote intellectual or philosophical argument about your belief system, it can only be had with people that believe the same or similar. If I don't believe in your imaginary friends, your imaginary beginning, your imaginary afterlife, we don't even have a foundation to begin from to have that conversation. I don't believe in none of that. If you're a Christian, you could have that conversation with a Muslim. You could have that conversation with a Jew. You might even be able to get away with that conversation with a Buddhist. But you can't have that conversation with an atheist. I reject your premise altogether. And you can't intellectualize a premise that doesn't have evidence. you understand what I'm saying? Like you can't. That's like, come on now. Now we can talk about some of the historicity, like the Nicene Creed. We can talk about the historicity, like was Jesus a historical figure? We can talk about some of the historicity, like some of the other claims that's in there that we can have a intellectual discourse about the historicity of things. But when we start talking about Moses splitting the Red Sea and a woman coming from a man's rib, and you start talking about resurrection after 3 days, and we start talking about a virgin birth, and we start talking about things that's outside of the natural realm of physics, I reject the premise patently. We can't even have that conversation.
Okay, so what about this, right? Now, okay, so you reject all that. You just tearing all that shit up and say, nah, fuck that. I'm Muruwa. And this is law and order. I'm laying down the law right now. So I get that. I follow you. So check this out, right? One of the things that the super team did say, right, that a lot of the leading top scientists are Christians, right? They're believers in Christ. Now, by that being said, right, I notice when a lot of people push that and use that, it somewhat support their stance in their religion and their faith, right? And it gives them the boldness to go out there to debate and to use different, I wouldn't say schools of thoughts, but different crafts, right? In order to go out there and solidify themselves more, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how would you counter that if someone tried to come and present that argument to you or that stance?
That there's a lot of Christians that are scientists.
Mm-hmm.
I say okay, and the majority of the biological scientists, they're not Christians. The majority of the hard scientists, they're not Christians. There's probably 50 times as many non-believer scientists as there are Christian scientists. It's a laughable claim, bro. It's like, oh yeah, you can. Nobody. Okay, yeah, you can. You're not gonna sit up here and tell me that the overwhelming majority of the people that are biochemists are Christians. There's no way you're gonna. There's no way you can believe in the creation narrative of Adam and Eve when you under a microscope looking at deoxyribonucleic acid. There's no way you can't do that.
Right.
That don't work. You cannot do that. You can't look at the DNA of an ancient hominid fossil and then look at the DNA of modern man and still hold on to that ideology. You can't do that in an intellectual way. At some point, you're going to have to say, okay, this is my belief. I believe it from a cultural perspective. I do not believe it from a scientific perspective. And then I have to shut the fuck up.
Right. Yo, Ratchet, what you got to say, man?
Oh man, yeah, man. I would just say I agree with the higher science. Just like when you start talking about the physics, uh, I guess biology. Them fields right there, they non-believer fields. And that's what they usually gonna have a problem with, right? Them fields because God is in the sky, so you're physics. You know, you deal with the sky, the Big Bang, and all that. So they don't like physics and they don't like biology because they get rid of the dirt people, Adam Dirt Man. You know what I'm saying? They challenge
Right.
Adam Dirt Man. So the biology, so them two fields, I can see the creationists or the religion people hate them fields especially, and not in them fields. Or if they can't be a believer, they gonna leave out a non-believer after doing research.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. It's
so
going
yeah.
science will make you abandon your belief system the higher you go in science. Because the things you're going to see, the evidence is going to be put in front of your face is going to be undeniable. And what does our brother Neil deGrasse Tyson say? He says religion is an ever receding pocket of scientific ignorance. That's like a mic drop right there, bro. The man said religion is an ever receding pocket of scientific ignorance, meaning as the smarter man becomes, the less reliant we become, the less reliance we have for religious ideology, bro. And it's common sense, man. It's just common sense. It's like, if we're going to talk about logic, it don't get more logical than that. Ancient man didn't know what severe mental health was. They saw someone that had schizophrenia. What would they say? Oh, that person is possessed by the devil. That person is possessed because the person having a schizophrenic episode. But now we know the neurology behind schizophrenia. We might not know it all the way well. We might not know it 100%, but we know that it's a chemical imbalance. We know that bipolar is a chemical imbalance.
So they're not possessed by the devil, brother.
No, sir, they're not possessed by the devil.
Oh man. Okay. So what? Another scientific discovery that don't get a lot of play is the discovery of germ theory, man.
Oh,
Like
oh,
germ theory, bro. They got rid of all. People say you get sick because you did something to God. You
right,
defy God. And
right.
people start understanding it. I think they got rid of some of the superstitions too, bro. They believe in
Right.
God. The germ theory.
They was a few years ago, and this is like relatively recent. They were wondering why so many children, when I say relatively recent, I mean like within the last 100 years. They were wondering like why so many children in certain parts of the South, particularly white children, were at the time they were born mentally with mental retardation. That was the technical term they used for it. I don't know what exact diagnosis would be today, but they were like, why are these women having so many damn retarded kids? That's what the doctors wanted to know. Why are these women having so many retarded kids? Of course, the religious people were saying that these women is cursed. The sins of the father, all of that old shit. And come to find out after more research, guess what it is? Uh, uh, what is it? I forgot the technical name. What is it when a mother is drinking alcohol during pregnancy? Uh, Fetal alcohol syndrome. I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the fetal alcohol syndrome. They come to find out that these mothers was goddamn alcoholics. That's why the babies was coming out fucked up. And then they start recommending, hey mom, if you know you're pregnant, please lay off the alcohol. You feel what I'm saying? Like,
But the alcohol is spirits, brother.
oh my bad. Yeah, the alcohol is spirits.
Yeah. Let me do my black eye. Look, black eye. It's
Right.
spirits, brother. See, the spirits she was drinking the raw spirits did, I
that,
guess.
that Jack Daniels, that
Yeah.
Jack.
And
But yeah, it's
all they baby feeble minded and shit.
but no Christian today would make them claims. You feel what I'm saying? No Christian today would make the claim that schizophrenia means somebody possessed by the devil because you're smarter than that now.
So they ain't got nothing to say this the devil there no more.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Religion is an ever receding pocket of scientific ignorance.
So Muruwa, I gotta ask you this, right? Now, check it out, right? We talking about extreme superstition, right?
Mm-hmm.
Superstition over scholarship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know we talk with many people in the back chats, man. I know we talk with a lot of individuals. Do you feel like, right, that the superstition is a strong part of Black society and culture over scholarship?
I see your question, and I'm gonna raise you another question. Uh, Superstition is the precursor to religion.
Right.
Like and we don't even get to religion if people ain't first superstitious about something. That superstition led them to start having certain rituals. Those certain rituals led to a certain sense of spirituality. That certain sense of spirituality became codified and became a religion. And guess what? And and this is no offense to anyone, we know for sure that there is a direct correlation today in 2023 with intelligence or lack thereof in being predisposed to being a religious minded or superstitious individual. We know this. There's a direct correlation. We know that the people that are the most spiritual aren't as on paper intelligent as other people. We know this. It's quantifiable.
Right.
So this isn't just me making this up. This is hard data. So there is a correlation between me not knowing something and me ascribing it to a deity. Because once I know more things, the less things I'm going to ascribe to a deity. Hence what we were talking about 10 minutes ago about the high scientists tend to be non-believers.
Right. Damn. Muruwa, I gotta ask you this, man. Where the hell have you been hiding all this time, brother?
I haven't been hiding, bro. I've been in the what did Sean call it? I've been in the underground. I've been in the underground trying to, talk to the people and get them on the grassroots. Trying to talk to the people that need it the most, the people that's on the grassroots level.
Right. So you've been in the underground. Now you done came to the light. You came to the light to bring true enlightenment and advancement. Ah, damn. I gotta say, well, gotta drop a bomb. Dropping bombs, man. You've been kicking in doors and everything, Muruwa. Gotta get it to you, man. But
I mean, it's easy to have a dialogue when people are not cutting you off and talking over you and screaming and ad homing you to death. We can always have an intellectual dialogue. It's nothing.
of course, as the true Dr.Decorum, I understand that you are all about that. You know what I'm saying? Of course, that will happen. It will be decorum only, no cutting off, no nothing, And I'm just saying, Mudu, I see you up for the challenge, just like DJ Seanski. And I'm really happy. I'm glad you brothers came on, man, for the show. And I appreciate y'all, you know what I'm saying? And I appreciate DMG, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate Sister Ivory. I give a shout out to Information Aids. I give a shout out to all our
Absolutely.
supporters, you know what I'm saying? And I
Absolutely.
give a shout out to Decorum. Decorum at the end of the day. It makes the world go round. And if we
Bringing
had more
decorum
decorum,
back, baby. We bringing decorum back.
we
God,
making
we said if we
Decorum cool
sexy back,
again.
we bringing decorum back, baby.
That's what I'm talking about. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all having me on, brothers. I appreciate the work y'all doing. I appreciate that y'all not being one-sided with your point of views. Even just the fact that y'all team. a believer and an atheist, and y'all get along well. That should tell a lot of people something. You know what I mean? Like, it's people out here that know how to talk and build with each other and not have the same personal ideologies. But again, appreciate y'all having me on here, man.
I appreciate you, boy. And hey, I'm gonna let them know that you're looking for
Super team. Okay.
them.
Why you got me laughing, Moody? I tried not to laugh. Leave me alone. Leave me alone, Moody. Leave me alone.
Hey man, I'm finna get up out of here, man. I'll talk to y'all in a minute.
All right.
Peace.
Well, all right. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that was the one and only Forum himself, the Elder Muruwa. And he had a message for the super team. He had a message for the Slim Reaper. And that's going to be interesting. And then, shocking as ever, and always on some extreme electrical bombardments, DJ Seanski came in, did what he did. He probably passed out on the floor drunk. You know what I'm saying? In his drunken sleep.
Yeah, he got his 1 day off, nigga.
Yeah,
He drank himself to sleep, nigga.
drunk
He was
his.
on fire. He was on fire early though.
Yeah, he was on fire. He was on fire so much he would
But
repeat
electrical fire. I don't know what to call it, bro.
fire. He couldn't put him out with normal water. He had to use the fire extinguisher or some shit.
Yeah, he was electrical fire.
Yeah. So it was fun. But ladies and gentlemen, we will be covering a lot of information. Ratchet and me are going to go deeper and deeper and deeper into the unknown and the taboo. Mudawa was great. DJ Seanski was great. And one thing about Craig and Craig Law Firm with Gebb and Associates, right? We are here to serve the community and bring you guys the topics that most do not want to have, and to bring you individuals' challenges, enlightenment, and even more information.
And watch out for the battle of the ideology and verses coming so they're more loud and clear. And I got a interview coming up. I ain't gonna announce it yet, but
Yeah,
be on the lookout. It should be this. What is it? Saturday, Craig, or Sunday?
Sunday. He said Sunday.
Sunday. Be on the lookout. It's gonna be great.
And not
It's
only
gonna be great.
everybody, please come through for next Sunday on the Sports Dungeon. We got the master himself, Geb T'Challa. I think he commented and said, "Who are these fools?" I think he got amnesia right now. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's wrong with him, but he'll probably remember Sunday later on.
He must be drinking that vegan liquor.
Yeah,
That shit probably got him passed out right now too. He crazy. He give you amnesia. Leave that vegan stuff alone, man. It's bad for black people health.
yeah. I guess this guy, I think he's been drinking vegan liquor, man. That's some exclusive stuff, man. Yeah,
Vegan.
yeah, a ginger vegan beer liquor. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't know what it is, but yeah, we did a show earlier today. We did a little pop up talking about Spence, and we talked about Crawford. You know what I'm saying? How it was more to that fight than meets the eye. You know what I'm saying? And we did that early to give you guys a little surprise. The Guru and me, and we got a lot of heat for y'all, man. Stay tuned. Stay black. We'll be black at it again. I came up with that saying. DMG didn't. He's lying if he told you he did. But anyway, Garrett was there, and he bared witness, and he saw me make that statement, and it's true.
Oh man.
I have to say this, man. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for being a part of Loud and Clear. And hey, do not shoot me, super team. That was Mudawa and that drunk guy that looked like he's an Asian that was coming at y'all and talking about
Yeah. He's a big guy. Feel like he's Arab and shit.
Arab. He's so mad at Arab. Notice he didn't say shit about Allah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he said not one thing about Allah.
Yeah. And then hard. He was just bringing the heat, talking about and screaming, saying that the Bible came from Egypt, and he's willing to take on anybody with that. So I'm like,
No, I don't want to go there. I'm sick of that topic. Oh, no more. The Bible came from Egypt. I'm sick of that one.
Hey, I'm just saying he came through. I saw MVP Chris Harris in the chat. I saw Google Scholar in the chat. I've seen a lot of familiar faces, and I appreciate you guys for the support for the whole effing show and paradigm shift. Please like, share, and subscribe. And then who knows, it might be your time and your time to be on the show with your show time.
Yeah. Yep, it might be loud and clear for you.
A master or a lake of fire.
Yeah, or a lake of fire. Y'all don't want to get that gangster. That's too gangster.
Yeah. And Ratchet and me are going to explain what that lake of fire is. We will get into that real soon. We'll be looking out for that probably next week. Anyway, without any further ado, DMP got some shows planned later on tonight, so be sure to be a part of that. He got a response video that he gotta make tonight. See, it's gonna be a killer. So anyway,
bye.
Hey, this is your host with Not So Much the Most, Classic Craig, the CEO. I'm using that for right now, this week only. Anyway, we'll talk later. Right? Peace. Out. We is out.